Chapter 1562. Recommended reading. Feng Ruyan gave her a calm look and continued. In the past, before the heavenly Tao changed, there were countless monarchs. Unlike now, there hasn't been a single one in hundreds of thousands of years. Sima Yue glanced at Feng Ruyan and suppressed the doubts in her heart. She actually wanted to ask if Aunt Feng had already reached the Imperial Emperor level. In the past, she had such thoughts, but she felt that it was impossible. Because the heavenly Tao was pressing down from above, there was no Imperial Emperor in this world. However, what if the Feng people were really the Protoss in the past? They might have a way to advance to the Emperor realm. Don't be distracted. Feng Ruyan reached out and poked her forehead. Sima Yue immediately collected her thoughts and continued to listen to her. The three clans split up, but the human race continued to rely on the god race. Even after the god race completely declined, their status was still above the human race. Feng Ruyan said, "Aunt Feng, why did the god race fall?" Sima Yue asked curiously, "Why is there no mention of the god race ruling over the three races in the ancient book? That was the shame of the human race in the past. How could it be passed down?" Ordinary people didn't know about this matter, but those with a little bit of background knew about it. As for why it fell, it was because the heavenly Tao changed. Humans had no choice. When Feng Ruyan talked about the heavenly Tao, her tone was somewhat sarcastic. "Feng people are from the divine race, right?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes. What's the difference between the god race and the human race? Is it a race other than humans and devils?" Sima Yue sized up Feng Ruyan and didn't feel like there was anything different about her. Feng Ruyan laughed lightly and said, "Divine race? There was no such thing as the god race. They were just a bunch of people who pretended to be mysterious. It's just that his bloodline is a little special, and the environment he was in was suitable for cultivation, so he was the strongest." Sima Yue understood. It must be because their bloodlines were different. Before the heavenly Tao changed, they were very suitable for cultivation. Therefore, their overall strength was very strong, and they called themselves gods. In fact, it was just a special human race. Later, the heavenly Tao changed, and the entire cultivation environment changed. Cultivation became more and more difficult, and the strength of the god race gradually weakened. In the end, the three races split, and the god race disappeared. Now only the Feng people were left. However, as the saying goes, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. No matter how weak the divine race was, it was still strong. The bloodline of the Feng people still had its own advantages in this world. Therefore, the entire Feng people were very strong. All the hidden clans and aristocratic families had to step aside. No wonder when Feng Ruyan mentioned the Xianqiu clan, she did not even put them in her eyes. "Aunt Feng, you should have broken through to the Imperial Emperor realm, right?" Sima Yue asked. Seeing that Feng Ruyan didn't deny it, she asked curiously, "Since you are already a monarch, then there shouldn't be anyone in this world who can match you. How did you get injured?" "This world doesn't allow for the birth of an imperial monarch. I naturally paid a price to become an imperial monarch. The heavenly tribulation almost killed me. In the end, I just passed the heavenly tribulation, and before I could recover, I met my mortal enemy. In the end, I got injured and left behind all these injuries. All these years, if it wasn't for Feng Qing who did her best to treat me, I wouldn't have been able to hold on for so long," Feng Ruyan said emotionally. And what?" Feng Ruyan was silent for a while and said, "Since this world doesn't allow for the birth of an imperial monarch, the Tao pattern is incomplete. This also means that although I have entered the ranks of an imperial monarch, my Tao is incomplete and is not recognized by the heavenly Tao." Now, she often thought that if she didn't do all these back then, she wouldn't have been taken advantage of by her mortal enemy. Even if she didn't become an imperial monarch, she would have a different life. An imperial monarch who wasn't recognized felt like a child who wasn't recognized by his parents. No matter what he did, there would be something missing in his heart. Who cares if the heavenly Tao recognizes you or not? You are you. You live for yourself and the Feng people. You don't live for the heavenly Tao. Since the heavenly Tao is so harsh, there will be a day when it will rebel," Sima Yue said resolutely. Boom. A bolt of lightning suddenly descended from the sky and landed on Sima Yoyue's body. She was completely defenseless and was charred on the outside and tender on the inside. Cough, cough. Sima Yue opened her mouth and spat out a mouthful of black smoke. Feng Ruyan looked at the charcoal-like person and couldn't help but laugh. This time, her laugh was much more genuine than before and wasn't as illusory anymore. She also made a move just now, but the Heavenly Tao's lightning punishment was only targeted at Sima Yue. Even if she made a move, it was useless. When the maids in the courtyard saw the smile on Feng Ruyan's face, and then looked at Sima Yue who was in a sorry state, they also laughed. It had been a long time since their mistress smiled so sincerely. Are you all right? Feng Ruyan asked. Cough, 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 cough. Sima Yue coughed a few more times and waved her hands at Feng Ruyan. Aunt Feng, I'm fine. Luckily, I'm used to being struck by lightning. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to take it. This is the lightning punishment. Normally, it's based on the person's strength. However, even a venerable rank expert might not be able to withstand the lightning of punishment you unleashed just now. You're really fine? Feng Ruyan said. I'm fine. Sima Yue recovered and took out a pill to eat before saying, I'm used to being struck by lightning. Every time I advance, I'll be struck by lightning. That's why my body is immune to it. After eating the pill, the burning sensation in her internal organs lessened by quite a bit. Feng Ruyan grabbed her hand and sent a gentle energy into her body, making her feel much better. Lord Ruyan, Feng Qing and a few elders rushed over after seeing the lightning punishment. They thought it was targeted at Feng Ruyan, but they didn't expect to see Sima Yue being struck into charcoal. Yue, what are you doing? Why did you attract the lightning punishment? Feng Qing was happy when he saw Sima Yue's state. Lord, this is... The others didn't recognize Sima Yue. Although they knew Feng Qing brought someone back, they didn't know her situation. This is my child. She said something inappropriate just now and attracted the lightning punishment. Feng Ruyan said. Feng Xiang, bring Yue to rest. When your body recovers, you can meet these elders again. Sima Yue knew that it wasn't suitable for her to meet people in her current state. She wanted to bow to them, but her body couldn't bend due to the lightning punishment. Instead, her actions were out of place. Feng Xiang brought her to her room to rest. Feng Ruyan stood up, and everyone knelt down. You guys sure run fast. Get up. Feng Ruyan's voice was faint. Although it wasn't strict, it wasn't as cordial as when she was with Sima Yue. Those who read Crazy Wife, Divine Dr. Fifth Miss, liked it. Chapter 1563. Feng Ruyan brought these people to the living room, and let Feng Qing tell them about Sima Yue. Those elders were originally unhappy that Feng Qing brought back such a person, but after hearing what he said, their anger disappeared. She came to save Sovereign, and even took out a divine medicine that they didn't have. Even if it was them, they were grateful to her. Yue calls me Aunt Feng. You should know how to treat her, right? Feng Ruyan waited for Feng Qing to finish before speaking. I don't wish for her to be uncomfortable in Feng people and be unhappy. Those arrogant descendants of yours, restrain yourselves. Yes, Sovereign. Everyone replied in unison. A few elders were thinking in their hearts that when they returned, they must restrain their descendants and not offend Sima Yue. From the punishment lightning, Sima Yue was only slightly injured and could still walk on her own. This meant that she wasn't weak. If they offended her, the ones who would suffer would be their descendants. Same as before, there's no need to come here if there's nothing. All right, you may leave. Feng Ruyan waved her hand at them. Those people bowed and left. Feng Qing waited for them to leave before asking about what happened just now. Feng Ruyan smiled and told him what happened just now. Feng Qing clicked his tongue in wonder. Even the punishment lightning came down. This means that Heaven's Tao is afraid of her. Maybe one day. Feng Qing didn't finish his sentence, but he was looking forward to it. She can be nurtured well. Feng Ruyan leaned on the soft mattress and felt a little tired. If that day really came, wouldn't the world be changed? And Feng Qing wasn't the only old acquaintance by her side. Have a good rest. I will refine pills for you. Feng Qing looked at her tired face, and a trace of heartache flashed past his eyes. Feng Ruyan didn't say anything and had already fallen asleep. He took out a snow-white blanket and gently covered her. He wanted to reach out and caress her face, but after hesitating for a long time, he retracted his hand and turned to leave. Sima Yue went back to her room and laid on her bed to rest. She thought about the punishment she had received from the heavenly Tao. He had been struck by lightning many times in the past, but this was the first time he had been struck by lightning. Was it because of what he had said? Actually, she hadn't said those words on a whim. Instead, it had sprouted in her heart a long time ago. A long, long time ago. Ever since he first saw the divine sense left behind by Emperor Qingdao, in the past, she had never faced this matter head-on, but now, she had real thoughts. Creak! The door was pushed open. She turned around and saw that it was Feng Qing. Looks like you're fine. When Feng Qing saw that she could still move, he thought to himself that she was actually so fine under such a powerful lightning punishment. She was really favored by the heavens. Uncle Feng, what's the matter? Sima Yue asked. I'll take you somewhere. Before Sima Yue could refuse, Feng Qing scooped her up, tucked her under his armpit, and left. Your Honor. Feng Xiang appeared. Wait for Ruyan to come out. Tell her that I've brought this girl to the void pond. Without waiting for Feng Xiang to speak, he left with Sima Yue. When Feng Xiang heard that he was bringing Sima Yue to the void pond, she subconsciously wanted to stop him. What if there was danger? However, Feng Qing obviously didn't intend to give her the chance to stop him. Feng Xiang, what are you worried about? If she can come out of the void pond, her future will be limitless. But is it so easy to pass through the void pond? Feng Xiang was very worried. Your Honor likes her so much. Your Honor won't do anything rash. I hope so. When Feng Qing left, Sima Yue saw the worry in Feng Xiang's eyes. She thought to herself that the void pond was definitely not a simple place. Feng Qing brought her to the peak of a mountain. There was a huge pond at the peak of the mountain. It looked a little like the volcanic lake she had seen before. However, normal lakes were either blue or green or colorless. However, the water in this pond was silver. She didn't see wrongly. The color was silver. It was the color of the water, and not the color of the bottom of the lake. This is the void pond? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Feng Qing put her down. You'll stay in the pond for the next few days. What's the use of this pond? Sima Yue asked. You'll know when you go in. Feng Qing didn't say much. Oh right, before you go in, give me the divine medicine. Sima Yue looked at him and then at the silver pond behind her. After hesitating for a while, she passed the god's scar, Earth's eye, tree of life and the divine medicine that she had prepared to Feng Qing. Feng Qing opened the jade box and looked at it. Then he frowned and said, the god's scar needs blood to grow. It's stained with your blood, so it's best for you to control it. I'll use the medicine on Ruyan in 2 months. I hope you'll be out by then. 2 months. Without waiting for her to say anything, Feng Qing waved his long sleeves and threw Sima Yue into the pond. Her injuries hadn't healed yet. Even moving was difficult for her, let alone swimming in the pond. She cursed in her heart. Then her entire body sank. Soon, she couldn't see the top of her head. Don't let me down. Feng Qing stood by the pond for a while. Then he left. When Sima Yue was in the water, she felt that the water was a little strange. When she opened her eyes, she didn't see the underwater world. Instead, it was hazy. Where is this? She tried to swim up, but the water above her head disappeared. Her entire body seemed to be wrapped in a hazy mist. She tried to step on it, but it was also illusory. Illusory? She remembered the name of the pond. Void Pond. Could it be that she came to the void through the pond? No, this wasn't the void. If it was the void, the feeling would be different. She closed her eyes and tried to use her divine sense to check her surroundings. However, she didn't notice that there were lightning sparks on her body. CSI, those lightning sparks slowly flowed up from the bottom of her feet. The surrounding mist was attracted by the lightning and kept drilling into her body. Sima Yue originally wanted to check out her surroundings. However, she realized that she seemed to have come to the void. She was surrounded by all kinds of stars and space dust. She saw a bright spot in front of her. There seemed to be something calling her. She wanted to go over, but her body couldn't move. Go over. Go over. She felt that something in her body was clamoring for her to go to the bright spot. She wanted to go too. However, the more anxious she was, the more she felt that she couldn't move. Don't be anxious. A voice suddenly sounded. Her anxious heart calmed down. Go, you can do it. When you go there, you'll find another world. That voice encouraged her. It was gentle and bewitching. Chapter 1564. Past. Sima Yue kept looking at the bright spot. She kept thinking about the past. Everything around her seemed to recede, and her eyes could only see that spot. She was getting closer and closer. She could feel the distance between her and the bright spot shrinking bit by bit. She didn't feel her body moving, but the distance between them was indeed getting closer. Pain. She suddenly felt as if her entire body had been pierced by a sharp blade. Her nerves relaxed, and the bright spot was far away again. She lowered her head and looked at herself. She looked fine, but she could feel the pain. She wanted to move on. The body in the void pond had already been dyed red with blood. Streaks of white light flickered in the void pond and left wounds on her body. Fresh blood flowed out. Her body seemed to have flowed out of a pool of blood. However, it was fortunate that her body was able to recover on its own. Coupled with the mist that had entered her body was able to support itself and not collapse. After Feng Ruyan woke up, she heard from Feng Xiang that Feng Qing had brought Sima Yue to the void pond. She was stunned for a moment before she sighed and said, "He still hasn't given up hope. My lord, no one has succeeded in coming up here in so many years. Miss Yue is not from the Feng people. Will she be in danger?" Feng Xiang asked worriedly. "It doesn't matter. She already has the aura of the Feng people in her body. Nothing serious will happen. Get people to pay attention to the situation over there. If it doesn't work out, bring her up," Feng Ruyan instructed. "Yes, my lord." Feng Xiang went out and came back after a while. Her expression was a bit strange. Feng Ruyan was reading a book. Seeing her like this, she put down her book and asked, "What's wrong?" "Miss Yue has activated the forbidden void," Feng Xiang replied. "What?" Feng Ruyan's indifferent expression revealed shock for the first time. Even her body froze for a moment before softening. "Get someone to wait outside the void pond." "Honorable Lord, why don't you let me stand guard?" Feng Xiang said. She had a good impression of Sima Yue. At least she was the only one who could make the great lord smile sincerely. "Go." Feng Ruyan lowered her head to continue reading. But after reading for a while, she still couldn't calm down. Not long after, the door was opened and Feng Qing came in. What a surprise! The forbidden space that hasn't been touched for so many years has been activated for her. Feng Qing casually found a place to sit down. "You didn't even consider her situation before doing this. If something happens, you still have to save her," Feng Ruyan said. "Hee, I just went to take a look. That little girl is doing well in the void pond. Although I'm a little disheveled, it's not bad," Feng Qing said casually. "We all know what the forbidden void is like." Feng Ruyan said indifferently, "That child can be considered her luck." Once the forbidden void was activated, the entire void pond would be sealed. Other than Feng Ruyan and Feng Qing, no one else would be able to enter. The void pool was originally a place that helped people gain insight into space. However, everyone who entered would receive different kinds of help. The forbidden void was the most powerful, but it was also the most dangerous. After the Feng people were born, they would have a chance to enter the void pond. However, it had been a long time since anyone was able to activate the void restriction. "Did you activate the forbidden void restriction that time?" Feng Qing asked. Feng Ruyan went to the void pond earlier than Feng Qing. However, the news about the void pond was sealed. Therefore, the Feng people didn't know what she did. However, everyone guessed that she should have activated the forbidden void restriction. However, Feng Ruyan shook her head. "I'm the void mist." The void mist was slightly inferior to the forbidden void restriction. However, it was still the best. After so many years, she was the only one who activated it. So you're saying that for tens of thousands of years, no one has activated the forbidden void restriction? Feng Qing was really shocked. His eyes widened. Feng Ruyan smiled. She's the first. I even said that I would treat your injuries in 2 months. I thought that she should be able to come out in 2 months. It seems like she won't be able to wait. The news from before said that there's nothing wrong for now. I can stay in the clan for a while longer. Feng Ruyan said. Feng Qing understood. She was saying that she wanted to wait for Sima Yue to come out. Feng Ruyan didn't give the order to mute the news. The news of Sima Yue activating the forbidden void restriction in the void pond quickly spread throughout the Feng people. At the same time, the news of Feng Ruyan activating the void mist also spread. This made the people of the Phoenix clan feel a little uncomfortable. An outsider's talent was better than theirs. Where were they going to put their faces? The more the news spread, the more curious everyone was about Sima Yue. They wanted to see what the person who could activate the forbidden void restriction looked like. Sima Yue was in the void pond. She didn't know what was happening outside. She also didn't know that she had become famous in the Feng people. At this moment, she was enduring the pain on her body and the boredom on her mind. Ever since she saw the light, she had been thinking of ways to get closer. However, every time she got closer, the pain on her body would make her relax. The distance between them would be pulled further. It was like taking 100 steps, and then going back 99 steps. The good thing was that even though the effect wasn't as good, there was still improvement. Thus Sima Yue didn't give up. Day after day, she got closer to the light. Soon Sima Yue watched as the light slowly enlarged. Finally, it enveloped her entire body. She felt extremely comfortable. Looking at the scenery in front of her, it seemed like she was still in the void. However, the feeling was different from before. Previously, she felt like she was just a spectator. However, this time, she felt like she was a part of the void. Unity of heaven and man. This was the highest level of understanding towards the void. The silver water in the void pond moved to the sides, revealing a person who was enveloped by the flowing light. The restriction that enveloped the void pond for the past half a year also disappeared. At this moment, the cauldron bell rang. That distant and ancient sound struck the hearts of every Feng people. It made every cell in their body clamor for hope. Sima Yue opened her eyes. She still looked the same as she did half a year ago. However, the feeling she gave off was completely different. The aura on her body was comparable to Feng Ruyan's. Feeling the closeness of the void, Sima Yue's intent moved. She disappeared from the void pond. Without any signs or aura, she appeared at the side of the pond. Aunt Feng. Sima Yue looked at Feng Ruyan and greeted her with a smile. Even though she wasn't sure what was going on, she knew that she had encountered a huge opportunity. And this was brought to her by Feng Ruyan. Even though you used half a year, the effect is still not bad. Cough cough. Feng Ruyan saw that she was waiting for praise and smiled. Chapter 1565. Sima Yue didn't feel that she had been in the pool for a long time. She was shocked when she heard that it had been 6 months. Now that she saw Feng Ruyan in such a state, she exclaimed, "Aunt Feng, your injuries haven't been treated? Is God's scar useless?" "Not yet." Feng Ruyan smiled and said, Ruyan said she would wait for you. Feng Qing said, "I thought that the divine scar had always been watered by your blood. With you around, it would be easier to control it. Since she could spare some time, I'll wait for you. I just didn't expect you to come out so soon." "Is half a year considered short?" Sima Yue was surprised. "Do you know when was the last time this forbidden space was touched? How long did that person take to come out?" Sima Yue shook her head. This was Feng people's business. How could she know? However, she knew that Feng Qing wasn't really asking her. The last time the forbidden void was opened was tens of thousands of years ago. At that time, that ancestor took nearly a year to come out. Even so, he still became the #1 array master since the beginning of time. The first person to do so since ancient times. This meant that the person's achievements were really very high. At that time, formations and barriers were all at his fingertips. He could teleport tens of thousands of kilometers away. Sometimes I can clearly see him walking, but in the blink of an eye, he is already hundreds of miles away. Feng Qing worshipped that ancestor. He glanced at Sima Yue and said, even such a talented ancestor took almost a year to come out. Tell me, is your time considered short? Sima Yue smiled, but she was not proud. She didn't think that she was very powerful. She felt that it was mostly because she had comprehended a domain. He was far inferior to that person. No matter what the reason is, the fact that you were able to come out so quickly is also due to your ability. Moreover, the things you comprehend are also yours. Feng Ruyan said indifferently. Sima Yue nodded. She threw away all the unnecessary thoughts. Whatever she realized was hers. She now felt that as long as she was willing, she could become one with space and achieve the true unity of heaven and man. Now she could directly hide her body in the space without being discovered. You must be tired during this period of time. Go back and rest. Feng Ruyan held her hand and brought her back to her courtyard. As for the people in the clan, they all returned to their own territories. Feng Ruyan asked Sima Yue to rest. Sima Yue didn't decline and returned to her room. Although her mental strength had improved by leaps and bounds during this period of time, and her understanding of space had also increased to the realm of the unity of heaven and man, she was still very tired. As soon as she laid down on the bed, she fell asleep. By the time she woke up, it was already 3 days later. She washed up and went to the courtyard. Knowing Feng Ruyan, she immediately walked over. She didn't expect Feng Qing to be there as well. Seeing that she was hesitating outside the garden, Feng Qing waved at her to come over. How is your recovery? Feng Ruyan saw that her complexion was not bad and knew that she should have more or less recovered. It's already done. Sima Yue sat beside Feng Ruyan. Since you're done, then let's start treating Ruyan. Feng Qing said. Sima Yue saw that they didn't get up and planned to treat her injuries in the courtyard. She was stunned for a moment. Here, Ruyan's body is almost done recuperating. The things are also prepared. Most people wouldn't dare to disturb her. Isn't it the same anywhere? Feng Qing glanced at Sima Yue. With a wave of his hand, a few jade bottles appeared in front of Sima Yue. These are the pills that I've refined during this period of time. I've added your tree of life, immemorial sacred medicine, and the others in to refine these few pills. Feng Qing said. When Sima Yue heard Feng Qing say all these, she didn't raise any doubts. Compared to an elite like Feng Qing, he was still a little lacking. The first time he met Feng Ruyan, the injuries on her body were so severe, but he was able to suppress her injuries. It wasn't that his medical skills were much better than Feng Qing's, but it was all because of the wonders of the silver needle technique. After that, she taught the silver needle technique to the Feng people. With Feng Qing's talent in medical skills, he naturally learned it thoroughly. Naturally, he was better than Sima Yue in treating Feng Ruyan. Wait for Ruyan to eat the pills. When it starts to take effect, then take the divine scar. When her condition isn't good, you can control the effects of the divine scar. Feng Qing said. Sima Yue was shocked. We didn't use the divine scar to make medicine? Feng Qing shook his head and taught her about divine medicine. Divine medicine is different from normal medicine. The effects of using it as medicine is not as good as using it directly. It's just that the effects are more overbearing. Those with weak bodies might not be able to withstand it. Those who can obtain divine medicine are not ordinary people. Naturally, there's no need to consider this. But Aunt Feng's body is so weak. Will she be able to withstand the effects of the medicine? Sima Yue was worried. Of course she won't be able to withstand it. But aren't I refining these pills with you? Feng Qing wasn't worried at all. Sima Yue saw that he was so confident. She asked about the ingredients of the pills and took Feng Ruyan's pulse before agreeing. The ingredients of the pills, just the Eye of Earth and the Tree of Life, were enough to allow Feng Ruyan's body to withstand half of the effects of the pills, not to mention the other precious ingredients. As for Feng Ruyan's body, under Feng Qing's care for the past few months, she had indeed recovered well. But thinking about how Feng Qing was going to perform acupuncture on Feng Ruyan's body, she couldn't help but take another look at the two of them. Sima Yue didn't have any objections. Feng Qing gave the pills to Feng Ruyan. When Feng Ruyan ate the pills, she didn't feel anything. When she saw the divine scar, she finally became excited. But it was fleeting. Sima Yue looked at Feng Ruyan's calm look and sighed in her heart. The injury that had been trapped for hundreds of years was about to be cured. If it was her, she would probably be extremely excited. But Feng Ruyan's expression was only a little abnormal. After an hour, Feng Qing checked Feng Ruyan's body. After confirming that the pills had taken effect, he opened the divine scar and let her eat it. The divine scar was a fruit that was about the size of a jujube. Feng Ruyan ate it in a few bites. It tasted a little sour and had a refreshing fragrance. It was similar to a fruit. Sima Yue also smelled it. She thought that it was from her own blood, and it should have a thick bloody smell. Thinking about how such a divine medicine was eaten just like that, she felt a little emotional. But when she thought about how there was another fruit like that in the spirit pagoda, her disappointment disappeared. Other people's divine medicine only had one fruit, but she had two. Although it was one big and one small, it was better than nothing. Chapter 1566. After Feng Ruyan ate the divine scar, she was fine at the start. Suddenly, she frowned and her face turned pale. Large beads of sweat kept dripping down. Ruyan. Feng Qing grabbed Feng Ruyan's hand to check her pulse. Sima Yue was thinking about the other divine scar, when she suddenly heard Feng Qing's voice. She immediately came back to her senses, and saw Feng Ruyan's uncomfortable look. She also became nervous. The divine scar's medicinal power is running amok in her body. Yue, the rest will depend on you. After Feng Qing finished speaking, he took out another pill and gave it to Feng Ruyan. Sima Yue knew that Feng Ruyan's current state was very dangerous. She grabbed her hand to check on her before injecting her spirit energy into her body through her palm. Aunt Feng, I'll use my spiritual energy to guide the medicinal power in your body. Don't resist. Feng Ruyan nodded slightly. Sima Yue's spirit energy flowed into Feng Ruyan's body through the meridians on her arm. She could feel the energy that was colliding everywhere, and tried to control it to make it obedient. Perhaps the divine scar sensed a familiar aura, and became less restless, but it didn't stop. Sima Yue was relieved to see that they had quietened down. At the very least, it meant that he was still useful. She tried her best to control them. Although it was difficult, she succeeded in the end. The medicinal power followed her spirit energy to the wounds on Feng Ruyan's body to heal them. Feng Qing saw that Sima Yue's complexion was getting worse and worse while Feng Ruyan's complexion was getting better. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. It seemed that waiting for her to come out before using the medicine was the right thing to do. It was just that the child had to suffer. The maidservants had been ordered not to enter the garden, and were all waiting outside. When those elders received the news that Feng Qing was treating Feng Ruyan's injuries, they all rushed over. Feng Qing had set up a barrier outside the garden. They couldn't enter, but they could see the situation inside. Initially, when he saw Feng Ruyan's uncomfortable state, he was extremely worried. However, he could only stay outside and was unable to do anything. When she saw that her condition had stabilized, she was extremely grateful to Sima Yue. It's all thanks to her. Otherwise, Honorable Lord might not have succeeded this time. It's not over yet. Don't celebrate too early. I believe in your honor. He was also very worried just now, but now he looks very relaxed. They all knew Feng Qing's ability. Since he was no longer worried, the others naturally relaxed as well. A day passed by very quickly. Feng Qing would occasionally check Feng Ruyan's pulse, and felt that her condition was getting better and better. He knew that he had succeeded this time. Sima Yue's spiritual energy was in Feng Ruyan's body, and she could naturally sense her situation. Although Feng Ruyan's current situation allowed her to control the divine scar, she still didn't come out. After another day, Sima Yue saw that Feng Ruyan's injuries were completely healed, and came out from her body. Feng Ruyan also opened her eyes at the same time. Aunt Feng, you've finally recovered. Sima Yue smiled at her, and fell to one side. Feng Ruyan reached out to hold her and checked her, saying, she used up too much mental energy and fainted. Feng Qing took out a pill and fed it to her before Feng Ruyan sent her back to her room. The moment she went out, the Feng people immediately congratulated her. Congratulations, Lord, for recovering. Lower your voice, don't disturb Yue. Feng Ruyan wasn't particularly excited. Let's go to the meeting room. Maybe it was because she had settled a matter in her heart. Sima Yue slept very comfortably. When she woke up, she felt much more relaxed. As long as she settled the matter in her heart, she wouldn't be so tired anymore. The door opened and Feng Xiang came in. Seeing Sima Yue with her eyes open, she said happily, "Young miss, you're awake?" Young miss? Didn't they call her young Miss Yue before? Young Miss Yue and young miss were two different statuses. Lord has already announced to the entire clan that you will be Feng people's young miss in the future. Feng Xiang said with a smile. Where's Aunt Feng? She got down from the bed. Lord left the second day after she recovered. Hearing Feng Xiang's reply, Sima Yue was stunned. Aunt Feng has already left? The matter over there has always been urgent. It's already rare for Lord to stay in the clan for so long. Feng Xiang replied. Originally, when Lord was recovering, she had already sent the news. However, Lord said to wait and see if you would wake up. In the end, you still didn't wake up the second day, so Lord had no choice but to leave. How long have I slept? 4 days. I slept for so long. Sima Yue was a little surprised. This time, she slept even longer than the last time. Lord said that you have been too tired all these years and have been too tense. Now that you have suddenly settled a matter in your heart is relaxed. The tension in your heart has been loosened. That's why you slept for so long. Feng Xiang looked at Sima Yue with a little heartache. She heard that Sima Yue wasn't even 100 years old, but she had already pushed herself so hard. Sima Yue smiled. It seemed like she really hadn't rested for a long time. Oh right, Lord said that after you wake up, you should go to his courtyard to look for him. I understand. Sima Yue didn't know where Feng Qing's courtyard was, so she asked Feng Xiang to lead the way. Knowing that Lord Feng had nothing to do with her, Sima Yue wasn't in a hurry. She slowly enjoyed the scenery of Feng people. When the people of Feng people saw her, they all greeted her warmly. Although they didn't like foreigners, they were grateful to her from the bottom of their hearts. If it wasn't for her, Lord Feng wouldn't be able to recover from his injuries. After arriving at Feng Qing's courtyard, Feng Xiang went back. Sima Yue saw Feng Feng and Yuan Yuan first. When Feng Feng saw Sima Yue, the coldness in Yuan Yuan's eyes lessened a little. You finally woke up. Feng Feng said with a smile. I have never seen someone who can sleep as much as you. Yuan Yuan's tone was a little cold, but there was still some concern in her words. After all, Sima Yue was injured because of Lord Feng. Where is Uncle Feng? He is waiting for you in the medicinal herb field. Let's bring you there. Sima Yue followed them to the medicinal herb field. Feng Qing was standing in the medicinal herb field, holding a small hoe and was loosening the soil for the medicinal herbs. Uncle Feng. Sima Yue walked over. You are finally awake. It's good to have a good sleep. Feng Qing stood up and saw that she was in good condition. Yes. Sima Yue also knew that after waking up this time, her body was in better condition than before. Before Ruyan left, she asked you to bring some people with you. If those people don't give you the miracle medicine, just snatch it, Feng Qing said. Okay. Sima Yue replied. Let Feng Xiang go with you. They are quite famous outside. In the past, Feng Xiang was in charge of the contact between Feng people and the people below. Okay. Then when do you plan to leave? Sima Yue thought for a while and replied. I came here to treat Aunt Feng's injuries. Since she has left, I want to leave now. Chapter 1567. Feng Qing gave her a jade pendant, saying that this jade pendant could mobilize the Feng people and all the forces under them. For example, Xian Yuan Pavilion. Behind her were the Feng people, so when they knew that she had obtained Feng Ruyan's favor, they were very respectful to her. Sima Yue did not refuse and kept it. Feng Qing went to look for Feng Xiang. Feng Xiang received his orders and brought some people to wait outside Feng Qing's courtyard. If there's anything, contact me. Do whatever you want. As long as you don't turn the world upside down, the Feng people will still support you. Feng Qing patted Sima Yue's shoulder. Thank you, Uncle Feng. Sima Yue smiled and turned to leave. Not to mention asking the Feng people to stand up for her. As long as she typed out their names, it would be a form of protection. When Sima Yue went out, Feng Xiang was already waiting outside with her men. Aunt Xiang, sorry to trouble you. Sima Yue bowed to Feng Xiang and the others. My lord has already instructed us. I didn't expect you to leave so soon. Feng Xiang helped Sima Yue up. Feng people had a lot of cultivation resources. In the past, people who came to Feng people would cultivate before leaving. She thought that Sima Yue would do the same. She did not expect her to leave so soon. I still have some things to take care of. This matter is a little tricky. We might have to rely on Auntie Xiang when the time comes. The Lord has instructed us to listen to the young Miss's orders when we're outside. Feng Xiang lowered her posture. If that's the case, let's go. Sima Yue ordered. Feng Xiang brought Sima Yue and left the Feng people. Once again, they passed through the long void. Previously, Sima Yue had been unconscious the entire time. This time, at least she was able to stay conscious. After an unknown amount of time, they came out from the void and happened to be in the sky above the Sima family. When the guards sensed that someone had appeared, they did not know whether it was a friend or a foe. They quickly gathered around. When they saw Sima Yue, they were excited. Little miss, you're back. Sima Yue nodded at them. Have great-grandfather, and the rest returned? He came back and went out again, the guard replied. Where did you go? I'm not too sure about that. Young Mrs. Master came to take them away. He's been gone for half a year. Sima Yue asked about the time, and found out that she had been on the road for 7 to 8 months. Most of the time, she had been on the road. After she left, there must have been an auction in Ji City. Her immemorial sacred medicine sold for more than 1 billion high-grade crystal stones. This number shocked Sima Yue. When she heard that it had been bought by the Yang clan, her happiness faded by half. Especially when he heard that the Yang family had also bought other medicinal herbs, his brows furrowed tightly. Previously, the Yang family had been eyeing the immemorial spirit herbs, and it was unknown what they would do with the sacred herbs. She kept having the feeling that the Yang family wanting these ancient spirit herbs had something to do with the undead. After the auction, Sima Ji Yuan and the rest returned and did not participate in the undead matter. He Zhenjiang also brought Su Lunyan back after the auction. Not long after, there were rumors that the Yang family had something to do with the undead. Although there was no direct evidence, there were still many people who looked at the Yang family suspiciously. However, not long after Sima Ji Yuan and the rest returned, Feng Zhixing came to look for Sima Yue, but he did not expect her to not be around. After Sima Ji Yuan and the rest received him, they left with their people not long after. Little miss, maybe young master knows. The guard reminded. My father. The guard nodded and told her that Feng Zhixing had looked for Sima Luxian before he left. Aunt Xiang, I'll arrange for your accommodations first. Sima Yue felt that something must have happened for her master to look for her. No need. Feng Xiang said. We know that you have a little realm. We'll just go to the little realm. This way, we'll be able to follow you and help you if anything happens. Sima Yue thought for a while and said, then I'll have to trouble you. It was not strange that the Feng people knew that she had a little realm, but she believed that they had never thought about it. As the descendants of the God clan, they would not care about a little realm. She asked the guard to leave, then opened the little realm and arranged for Feng Xiang and the rest to enter. Fortunately, the people of Bloodfiend City had built many courtyards over the years. Otherwise, she would be embarrassed to arrange for them to enter. Feng Xiang was a little surprised when she entered the little Black Lotus realm. She did not expect the environment to be so good. It should be one of the better ones in the little realm. Sima Yue arranged for them, and went straight to Sima Luxian's courtyard after she went out. Father. Sima Luxian was playing chess with an old man in the courtyard. When he saw Sima Yue coming in, a smile appeared on his face. Are you done with the things over there? Sima family did not know what Sima Yue went to do, but they knew that it was not easy. They were worried about her before, but now that she was back, They knew that she should be done with her work. It's done. Aunt Feng's injury has been cured. It can be considered that I have been thinking about it for the past few decades. Sima Yue said. Since you are back, have a good rest. Father, is there a reason why Master has come? Where did great-grandfather and the rest go? Sima Yue asked. He left because of some things. What's wrong? If it's not related to me, why would Master come to find me? Sima Yue said. I suddenly felt anxious when I heard this, so I asked. Sima Yue and the old man opposite looked at each other and said, This matter is indeed related to you. What is it? Feng Zhixing heard that you were in contact with the mausoleum in the outer academy, so he came to ask you. He said that the 100 changing doors had already sent people over. Sima Luxian told her the truth. Mausoleum? Sima Yue was stunned for a moment and asked, Did it appear again? Sima Luxian nodded. I heard that some mausoleums were found in some places, but those who went in didn't come out. And I heard that there were some things that couldn't be killed around the mausoleum. Sima Yue thought about going to the mausoleum with Jiang Junxian and Su Xiaoxiao. She thought about those guys who couldn't be killed and her heart sank. At that time, she felt a little strange. How could someone do such a thing? She felt that there should be more than one mausoleum like that. Maybe someone was behind it. She didn't expect it to be true. Mausoleums and undead were related to the dead. She subconsciously thought of the Yang family. Father, does this have anything to do with the undead? This is not clear yet, Sima Luxian said, but I heard that many of the Yang family's people were killed. Sima Yue was puzzled. These mausoleums usually have some treasures or inheritances, Sima Luxian said. Sima Yue understood. Since there were treasures, there would naturally be people who would explore the mausoleum. If they met those guys, they would most likely die. Little Spirit kept the seeds and prepared to plant the second batch of seeds after refurbishing the soil here. Sima Yue then went to look for Little Seven and Qing Yi. She was a little embarrassed as she asked them for some essence. Qing Yi and Little Seven didn't really care about this. Other than that time with Feng Ruyan, she had never asked them for it. Moreover, even these 2 times, it wasn't for her. Yue brought Little Lucky out of the spirit pagoda and went to the mountain behind the clan. She chose a secluded place and tried to contact the spirit beast that Wu Lingyu had left by her side. This was her first time contacting the other party, and she didn't know if it would work. Not long later, a hole opened in the air, and a trace of the Devil Clan's aura came out. Can you help me contact Lingyu? Sima Yue asked. The other party didn't reply. Then can you go and look for him? Sima Yue asked again. My mission is to protect you. This meant that he didn't agree. I'm at home. Nothing will happen. Go and look for him. Sima Yue said. The other party didn't reply. This meant that he didn't agree. Sima Yue wasn't angry. You know the condition of his body, right? If he encounters danger and his body isn't well, then I don't need to tell you what will happen, right? The other party was silent. Sima Yue took out the divine scar that she had prepared. I won't ask you to do anything. You just have to give this to Lingyu. Okay. The other party finally agreed and kept the jade box. The fluctuation in the air quieted down quickly. It seemed that the other party had left. Not long after it left, Sima Qing appeared beside her. Are you all right? Sima Qing felt the devil chi, but he couldn't go near it. Seeing how calm Sima Yue was, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. What kind of people were by this girl's side? They were all so much stronger than him. I'm fine. Sima Yue shook her head lightly. Are you going to stay at home for a while? Sima Qing sat down beside her. I'm not leaving. In a few months, I'll go to the Xianqiu clan and get the godly medicine. I'll prepare to reconstruct my father's bones, Sima Yue said. Sima Qing wanted to say something but didn't in the end. Don't worry. As long as those qi spirits have lightning attribute spiritual energy and deviant flames, they can be restrained. If you're worried, you can find some people with deviant flames to help, Sima Yue reminded. If you really can't find anyone, you can look for my 3 senior brothers and sisters. They all have deviant flames. However, if they aren't very strong, You must ensure their safety if you invite them over. If they aren't willing, please don't force them. Sima Qing knew that Sima Yue had been waiting for this moment for the past few years. Nothing could disturb her. To be able to hear her say this, he was very satisfied. In the sage pavilion, Wu Lingyu was about to leave. He wanted to see that girl before he left. Suddenly, he felt a strange movement in the air. Didn't I ask you to guard that girl? His voice was cold. She asked me to send something to you. Wu Lingyu raised his eyebrows. Why did that girl think of him? What? Thinking of that girl. His lips curled into a smile. A box was thrown down from the sky. It looked like there were 2 sets of grievances. Wu Lingyu opened the box. Seeing the 3 things inside, his lips curled up even higher. Umph. That girl said that she was afraid that something would happen to your body when you were in danger. She asked you to eat these and let your soul fuse together. Wu Lingyu's slender fingers rubbed the jade box. After a moment of silence, he said, "Since that's the case, I won't look for her. Something did happen in the devil realm. Tell her that I'll go to the devil realm after eating this. I won't have time to go there." Originally, there was still some time, but it wasn't enough to see her. He originally wanted to see her, then squeeze some time to go to the devil realm. If he wanted to digest this divine medicine now, he wouldn't have the time to look for her. You can give this to that girl. No matter what happens in the future, don't leave her side. The box he took out was swept away by a gust of wind. Following that, the movement in the air disappeared. He looked at the box in his hand and thought of Yue who was thinking of him. He smiled, opened his little realm and went in. Chapter 1569. When Sima Yue received Wu Lingyu's gift, her expression was the same as when Wu Lingyu received her gift. He said that he originally wanted to come and see you before going to the devil realm. However, with your divine medicine, he had to go and recuperate first because he couldn't come and see you. When Sima Yue heard this, the smile on her face disappeared. She asked in a low voice, "Did something big happen in the devil world?" If it wasn't for the fact that this trip to the devil realm was extremely dangerous, he wouldn't have given up on meeting me to recuperate. The fact that he made such a decision means that the situation must be very serious. Sima Yue said. She wondered if she could be of any help to him. The other party was silent for a long time before finally saying, "As long as you're fine, he'll be fine." After that, there was no more movement. Sima Yue knew that Wu Lingyu would ignore her. She thought about how Wu Lingyu's body should be fully recovered after using God's scar. If his body recovered, his strength would also recover. When he went to the devil realm, it would be safer. After thinking it through, she relaxed and opened the box in her hands. As expected, it was the Sage Pavilion's Phoenix Nirvana. This guy, he just sent the divine medicine to me like that. He didn't even do it himself. She had no idea how he got his hands on it. It won't be easy. Although she was scolding him, her face was filled with happiness. She closed the box and went to find Sima Luxian to show him the Phoenix Nirvana. The Phoenix Nirvana was a red fruit that resembled a ball of flame. When placed in the palm of his hand, he could feel a scorching heat. "Father, I've already obtained the Phoenix's Nirvana. Once I obtain the Xianqiu clan's rebirth from the flames, I'll heal you. You'll definitely recover," Sima Yue said excitedly. Sima Luxian was relatively calm after seeing the Phoenix Nirvana for the first time. He reached out and patted Sima Yue's head, his heart aching as he said, "Father's heart aches to see you so tired." "Father, it's okay for me to suffer a little now as long as our family can be reunited." Sima Yue leaned on Sima Luxian's arm. "Father, I've always heard people say that you and Master's talents are so good. Now that I see Master's power, I'll let Father regain his glory." "Nonsense." Sima Luxian heard her adjective and poked her forehead with his finger. Sima Yue smiled and rubbed against his shoulder. In the following few months, news of black-robed men, undead and chi spirits kept coming. After Sima Yue heard about it, she was extremely worried. However, as long as the Sima clan was fine, she did not plan to go out and go into seclusion to deal with her own matters. Sima Yue calculated that the 5 years were almost up, so she came out of the spirit pagoda. She didn't expect to hear bad news the moment she came out. Yue. You're to you. Yeah, you to come came to you. Old ancestor, what's wrong? Sima Yue saw his anxious face. I just received news that the situation over there has become serious. Some of our clansmen are trapped. That includes your senior sister and the rest. A few months ago, Sima Qing went to find Su Xiaoxiao and the rest after hearing Sima Yue's words. When Su Xiaoxiao and the rest heard that the Sima family sent them, they agreed to follow them. Sima Yue heard about it the last time she came out. She didn't expect to hear that they were in danger when she came out again. Senior sister, and the rest have deviant flames. How could they be trapped? She was surprised. Something must have happened. Sima Qing said. Then why did you ask me to go? It seems like your senior brother said that you can only resolve the crisis they are facing now if you go. Sima Qing said. I think it might be because of your vermilion bird flame. Can't the ordinary deviant flames deal with those chi spirits? Sima Yue frowned. If that was the case, it would be troublesome. I know that you are waiting for the Xianqiu clan, but this time the clans matter. Sima Yue saw that Sima Qing was in a difficult position. Old ancestor, don't worry. I will go save my clansmen first, then go to the Xianqiu clan. If anyone comes to the clan to find me, let the clansmen tell them the truth. I've already given the order. Come with me now. Sima Qing opened the space tunnel and brought Sima Yue in. Sima Yue could feel that this matter was more urgent because Sima Qing actually gave up on taking the spaceship. He had been using his spirit energy to walk through the space tunnel. When they came out, Sima Qing's spirit energy was almost depleted. Old ancestor, how are you? Sima Yue saw that Sima Qing's expression was not good and asked worriedly. I'm fine. We'll be there soon. Sima Qing said. I'll take the rest of the journey. Sima Yue grabbed Sima Qing's hand and flew towards the destination. Sima Qing felt that he was surrounded by a gentle energy, and looked at Sima Yue in surprise. He could feel that the space tunnel she built was more stable than his. He could also see that she was very relaxed, as if she was one with the space. Boom! When Sima Yue and Sima Qing came out, they heard the sound of a battle. They turned their heads and saw a group of people fighting with some monsters. The sound just now was the sound of a thunder attribute spirit technique. However, it was obvious that this person was not very strong. The thunder and lightning that he condensed had no effect on the chi spirits. Those are the Yin clan. Sima Qing recognized them at a glance. There don't seem to be many thunder attribute spirit masters in the Yin clan. Sima Yue recognized a lady in the crowd, and called out to Yin Susu. Seeing that she was about to be injured by the chi spirits, she quickly conjured a tiring spell. Yin Susu had already seen the monster's sharp claws and knew that they would not be able to escape today. However, she was unwilling to close her eyes. She saw that the claws were only a few centimeters away from her, and saw that it was struck by the sudden lightning. One after another, the lightning struck the chi spirits, turning them into balls of spirit energy. The Yin clan members were stunned by this turn of events and immediately became excited. Although they did not see clearly who saved them, they were sure that they would be saved today. Sima Yue's thunder and lightning carried top-grade purple lightning. Even if it was a small spirit technique, it could still strike the chi spirits apart. Since it had such an effect, she was not willing to waste it. She only used a little bit of spirit energy to destroy the dozens of chi spirits. Yin Susu then saw clearly that the person who helped them was Sima Yue. She walked over and said gratefully, "Thank you." "It's nothing." Sima Yue smiled. "Miss Yin, why are you here?" "We found a tomb nearby, so we came to take a look." "Not only us, many people came here," Yin Susu said. However, not many survived. Chapter 1570. Sima Yue understood that if the Yin family of the 49 states was forced to such a state by the chi spirits, the other powers would be even more miserable. However, those chi spirits were a little strange. They seemed to be different from the ones she had met before. What was different about them? "Miss Yue, before we came out, we saw that the Sima family was also trapped," Yin Susu reminded her. Sima Yue came back to her senses and smiled gratefully at In Susu. You guys go back to the city first. I'll go look for them. After speaking, she looked at Sima Qing. He didn't have the lightning attribute and he was so tired. Why not go back and rest together? Unexpectedly, Sima Qing spoke first. I won't do anything if we meet chi spirits, but if we meet humans I'll still be of some use. Sima Yue rolled her eyes in her heart. Even old ancestor was of some use. She would probably be killed instantly. However, he was also worried about her safety, so he didn't say anything. They bade farewell to the Yin family, and flew towards the direction where the Sima family was trapped according to the direction they gave them. She didn't know what method Sima Qing used to bring her to the trapped Sima family. A group of chi spirits surrounded a group of people in the middle. Those people had no choice but to use an array to block them outside. Sima Yue looked around. Other than Sima Zhiyuan and the others, there was also Jiang Junxian, Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiaoxiao. Although they had only been separated for 7 to 8 years, including the time she spent in the spirit pagoda, she felt that she hadn't seen them for a long time. They hid in the array, and the deviant fire circled around the array. Those chi spirits didn't dare to come forward, and could only guard outside. One chi spirit got impatient, and slapped the array master. Its claws were burned by the deviant fire. Sima Yue saw this scene and frowned even more. Old ancestor, these chi spirits are a little strange. How is it strange? Sima Qing had never encountered chi spirits before and didn't have a comparison, so he couldn't see anything unusual. The ones we met before weren't this strong. But these seem to be controlled by someone. Sima Yue said. Controlled by someone? In that case, these chi spirits weren't born by chance? Sima Qing's heart sank. If these were all man-made, then it meant that someone was behind this. Recently, the continent had not been peaceful. All kinds of mysterious forces had emerged. Was there really going to be chaos? Sima Yue told him about the formation of chi spirits. She could not think of anything else other than man-made. I think that if you want to control these chi spirits, you can't be too far away. Old ancestor, leave this place to me. Go around and see if you can find anything. Sima Yue said. Sima Qing knew that there was no use for him to stay here. If the chi spirit attacked him, his counterattack would only make the other party stronger. He nodded and turned to leave. Sima Yue flew over. Some chi spirits discovered her and immediately attacked her. You're courting death. Sima Yue snorted coldly. With the vermilion bird's flames around her, the chi spirits felt threatened and subconsciously retreated. She stretched out both hands with her palms facing upwards. Lightning attribute spirit energy gathered in her hands. Purple lightning flashed, causing the sky to change color and dark clouds to gather. Those chi spirits could not make a sound, but when they saw the dark clouds above their heads, their eyes flashed with fear. Pa! Lightning with top-grade purple lightning struck down from the sky. Heaven and earth shook. Those chi spirits turned into spirit energy in the purple light and finally dissipated. It's junior sister. Han Miaoshuang saw Sima Yue and cried out excitedly. Their spirit energy was almost depleted, and they were completely relying on the array and the deviant flame to support themselves. When they saw Sima Yue, they knew that they were saved this time. When those chi spirits dispersed, Sima Yue asked little birdie to help. Very quickly, the surrounding chi spirits were all eliminated. Sima Zhiyuan removed the array and looked at Sima Yue with relief. They knew that as long as she came, they would be saved. Yue, why did you come so quickly? Huang Yingying looked at Sima Yue. It had only been a few days since they sent the news back. How did she come here? Old ancestor brought me here. Sima Yue said. She saw Han Miaoshuang coming out from behind and smiled at her. Junior sister, haha, I knew that as long as you came, we would not be in danger. Han Miaoshuang ran over and hugged Sima Yue excitedly. Sima Yue was infected by her excitement, and the smile on her face widened. I knew that you guys asked me to come. Sima Yue patted her shoulder. It's all because of me that you guys are in such a dangerous situation. How could I not come? The Sima family knew about the 5-year agreement, and knew how important Sima Luxian was to her. They knew that she did not come out during this period, because she was waiting for the Xianqiu family. So they would not take the initiative to ask her to come over. Her thoughts were more or less the same. The Sima family did not think of asking Sima Yue to come over at first. Although they knew that she was powerful, they did not know that she had lightning attribute spiritual energy. They had never seen little birdie, and did not have any impression of it. It was Han Miaoshuang who thought of Sima Yue and told Sima Zhiyuan and the others. At that time, only Sima Yue would have a solution if she came. Sima Zhiyuan and the others heard Han Miaoshuang's suggestion, and sent a message to the family with the intention of giving it a try. They did not expect her to come over a few days later. This meant that the family was still very important to her. Thinking of this, the Sima family was in a good mood. Hey, we haven't seen each other for a few years, and you know how to be so polite to your senior sister? Are you not going to acknowledge me as your senior sister? Han Miaoshuang heard Sima Yue's words and let go of her. She reached out and pinched her face, looking a little angry. Sima Yue quickly smiled and explained, "How can I do that? Aren't you always my dearest senior sister?" As she spoke, she even grabbed Han Miaoshuang's arm and shook it, not embarrassed at all. No matter what status or strength they had now, Han Miaoshuang and the others were still the same in her heart. They were still her senior brothers and senior sisters who took care of her. She would always be their junior sister. There was nothing to be embarrassed about when she acted coquettishly. However, when the Sima family saw this side of Sima Yue, their eyes widened. In their eyes, Sima Yue was omnipotent and unreachable. They did not expect her to have such a cute side. Han Miaoshuang saw Sima Yue acting coquettishly and her heart softened. She rarely acted coquettishly in front of them. She was always too independent, causing them to lose the prestige of a senior sister in front of her. It's good that you remember. If you say something like this again, I will. What would happen? She could not threaten her. It seemed like nothing could threaten her. After a while, Sima Qing came back with a man covered in blood. Chapter 1571. Sima Qing came in front of them and threw the man on the ground in disgust. He even took out a handkerchief to wipe his hands. The Sima family members looked at the man on the ground and asked, "Old ancestor, this is?" You said that the Qi spirits seemed to be controlled by someone, and that they were not too far away. She asked me to go nearby to take a look. When the Qi spirits were destroyed, I happened to see this guy and brought him back. Sima Qing said in disgust. Did you injure this person? Sima Qing shook his head. He was already like this when I saw him. He must have suffered from a backlash. Sima Yu saw that the man was half dead, and used her divine sense to check his sea of consciousness, but found that it was empty. She stood up in disappointment and said, "Their sea of consciousness is broken. It should be related to the Qi spirits. If the Qi spirits are here, they are here. If the Qi spirits are gone, their sea of consciousness will be broken as well. It should be to prevent this from happening," Sima Zhiyuan said. Since the sea of consciousness was broken, this person was useless. Sima Yu ignited a ball of fire and burned him to ashes. Then she looked at everyone and said, "You guys take a rest first, then tell me about the situation here." They returned to the city and found an inn to stay. Sima Yu guessed that they had been in a tense state for the past few days and should be resting now. She did not disturb them and walked around the streets to see if she could find any news. She walked around and heard that there were many treasures in the ancient tombs, but they were guarded by the Qi spirits and could not get close to anything. She sighed in her heart. These people were like that. No matter how many people died, they would always think of those treasures. They probably did not know as much about the Qi spirits as Han Miaoshuang and the others. She walked around and did not hear anything else, so she went back. She stayed outside for half a day. When she went back, she heard that they were still resting, so she went back to her room and took out a book to read. The 5-year period was just a few days away. She did not know if the Xianqiu family had sent anyone to look for her. If they knew that she was not around, would they think that she had missed the appointment? When she came out, she put Sima Lu Xian in the little realm, thinking that she would treat him as soon as she got another kind of divine medicine. If Xianqiu's men couldn't find her, then she could only go to the Xianqiu clan herself. The Xianyuan Pavilion should know the location of the Xianqiu clan. Tock tock tock. A knock on the door interrupted her thoughts. She put away her worries and got up to open the door. Seeing the 3 people standing outside, a smile appeared on her face. Senior brothers, senior sisters, have you all rested well? I've taken some pills and rested for a day. I'm almost fully recovered. Han Miao Shuang entered the house and saw a book on armament refining on the table, saying, Little junior sister, are you dabbling in armament refining now? Yes, due to some reasons, I have no choice but to learn how to refine weapons. Sima Yue did not keep the handbook, but turned around to serve tea to the 3 of them. Little junior sister's tea is so fragrant. Su Xiaoxiao took a sip and sighed. Sima Yue smiled. Senior brother, how's the situation in the valley? They've already opened the shop in the inner region. They encountered some difficulties, but they were all solved by Uncle Bai and the others. Now they've settled down in the inner region, Su Xiaoxiao said. That's good. Sima Yue nodded. Seeing that Jiang Junxian had fallen asleep on Han Miao Shuang's shoulder, she shook her head helplessly. Yue, take a look at Junxian. He's been dozing off more and more recently. Most of the time, he can't be woken up. I'm worried about his body. Han Miao Shuang tilted her head and glanced at Jiang Junxian. Her eyes were filled with worry. Sima Yue knew that Jiang Junxian had been poisoned in the past. Previously, she heard that the poison had been cured, so she didn't check Jiang Junxian's body. Now that she heard what Han Miao Shuang said, she was a little worried. Senior brother, let me take a look at you. She came to Jiang Junxian's side. She knew that he was usually very alert, so she grabbed his wrist after speaking. Jiang Junxian's body moved, but he didn't pull it out nor did he attack her. Sima Yue took Jiang Junxian's pulse and her face darkened. Yue. Han Miao Shuang moved her mouth, but when she saw Sima Yue shaking her head at her, she swallowed the rest of her words. Sima Yue switched to the other hand and continued to take his pulse. Later on, she transferred her spirit energy into his body to check. Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miao Shuang glanced at each other and saw the worry in each other's eyes. After a long while, Sima Yue finally withdrew her spirit energy. She told Su Xiao to carry Jiang Junxian to the bed. Then she took out a silver needle and pierced it into his neck. Feeling that Jiang Junxian had fallen into a deep sleep, Su Xiaoxiao pulled Sima Yue and asked, Junior sister, what's wrong with Junxian? Although senior brother's previous poison has been completely cured, his nerves were injured when he was poisoned, leaving behind this kind of sequela. Sima Yue said. We all know this, but why is the situation more serious? Han Miao Shuang asked anxiously. His nerves have been deteriorating all these years. It's because it's deteriorating even more now, Sima Yue said. Is there a way to treat it? Su Xiaoxiao asked. It's not that there isn't a way, Sima Yue said. It's just that it's not easy. No matter how hard it is, we have to try. Han Miao Shuang clenched her fists and looked at Jiang Junxian with determination. Cough cough, senior sister, it's not as serious as you think. You don't have to be like this. I won't let you go through hell. Sima Yue teased her when she saw her expression. Really? Han Miao Shuang didn't believe it. Your expression was so scary just now. It looks like the situation is serious, but you said it's not easy. Why are you saying it's not serious now? I said it's troublesome, not that the treatment is difficult. It's just that the process is more troublesome, Sima Yue said. Really? Han Miao Shuang still couldn't believe it. It's more real than a pearl, Sima Yue said with a smile. How is it troublesome? Su Xiaoxiao asked. As long as it's not that there's no way. It's a long process, and I'll have to observe his condition and adjust the treatment plan, Sima Yue said. I might have to change the prescription many times in the process. This isn't a big deal. The main thing is that you have to be with me for the next few years. Han Miao Shuang finally believed her after hearing what she said. We'll be with you if we're with you. It's the same no matter where the 3 of us are, Su Xiaoxiao said. Yes, as long as Junxian's illness can be cured, anything is fine. Anyway, there will be a lot of surprises if we follow junior sister, Han Miao Shuang said. Sima Yue hesitated. What's wrong? Sima Yue thought for a while and said, I have something to deal with recently. It's a little dangerous. If you follow me, you might be in danger. Chapter 1572. Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miaoshuang were shocked when they heard that she was in danger. Junior sister, what are you going to do? Su Xiaoxiao asked with a sullen face. They hadn't heard her say that she had something dangerous to do before. If it wasn't for this, would she not have told them? Sima Yue hesitated for a moment, and told them that she was going to the Xianqiu clan to get the divine medicine. The Xianqiu clan is a hidden clan. I'm afraid it won't be easy to get the divine medicine from them. Let's see if Xianqiu he can get the divine medicine, and if he will keep his promise. Su Xiao said, I believe that he will keep his promise, but I'm not sure if he will be able to obtain the divine medicine. Sima Yue trusted Xianqiu he's character. However, regardless of whether Xianqiu clan will give me the divine medicine, I have to get it. Then all the more we have to follow you. Han Miaoshuang said, how can we just stand by and do nothing when you're in trouble? Regardless of whether you treat Jun Xian or not, we will follow you. But, no buts. Han Miaoshuang said firmly. You said before that you wanted to come back. It's not good for us to participate in the clan's matters, so we can't say anything. However, this matter is so dangerous. We are your senior brothers and sisters. How can we let you take the risk alone? Sima Yue looked at Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiaoxiao. Both of them had the same expression. There was no room for discussion. Thinking about Feng Xiang and the others in the little realm, even if this trip was dangerous, it shouldn't be life-threatening. He nodded and said, all right then. I can treat senior martial brother's illness. Seeing that she agreed, both of them heaved a sigh of relief. This junior sister was usually the most difficult to talk to. He originally thought that it would take a lot of effort to persuade her, but this time, she agreed quite quickly. After settling this matter, Han Miaoshuang started to worry about Jiang Junxian. Junior sister, why hasn't Junxian woken up yet? In the past, when he slept, he didn't really sleep. He was just mentally exhausted. Now that I've put him into deep sleep, he is truly resting. Sima Yue said. How long will that take? Let him sleep for a night, Sima Yue said. I'll perform acupuncture on him later, and then I'll nurse him back to health. Little junior sister, if you want to refine any pills, you can tell us. Han Miaoshuang said. If I can let you guys do it, I definitely won't do it myself. Sima Yue said with a smile, looking at Han Miaoshuang with eyes full of smiles. Little junior sister. Han Miaoshuang was embarrassed by her stare. She flew into a rage out of humiliation, as if she wanted to hit her. Senior sister, I'm going to give senior brother the acupuncture treatment. If you hit me, my hand will hurt and the needle won't be stable. Senior brother will be the one who will suffer. After Sima Yue said that, Han Miaoshuang unwillingly put down her raised hand. She glared at Yue and snorted. I'll deal with you later. Sima Yue wasn't afraid of her. She let Han Miaoshuang take off Jiang Junxian's clothes, leaving only his underwear. She was so embarrassed that her face turned red. Sima Yue glanced at her and said, Senior sister, you've been with senior brother for so long, don't tell me you haven't. We said we'll get married after we find master. Han Miaoshuang lowered her head, her face full of shyness. Speaking of Su Jin, Sima Yue didn't have the mood to joke anymore. She nodded and said, after I treat my father's injury, we'll go find master. Of course. Master has been gone for so many years. Although we know that his life isn't in danger, he hasn't contacted us. I'm a little worried that master is trapped. Sima Yue said guiltily. It was all because of her that Su Jin and Gulang went missing for so long. Thinking of this, and thinking about how she couldn't find them because of various things, she felt very guilty. Little junior sister, master won't blame you, Su Xiao said. Sima Yue smiled. I'll do acupuncture for senior brother first. Because Jiang Junxian's nerves were injured, she only inserted a few needles into his body. But from his neck up, it was densely packed with needles. Han Miaoshuang's heart twitched when she saw it. Wouldn't his head be pierced into a sieve? There weren't many needles this time. But because it was close to the brain, Sima Yue spent more energy than before. Fortunately, her mental strength had improved a lot these years. Adding on the experience in the void pond, she didn't feel too uncomfortable. But her forehead was soaked with sweat. After that, she took Jiang Junxian's pulse. She took out a pill formula and a bunch of herbs and handed it to Han Miao Shuang. This is the pill formula and herbs. Go and refine the pill for senior brother. Han Miao Shuang took the herbs and pill formula and returned to the room. Su Xiaoxiao saw that there was nothing else and planned to carry Jiang Junxian back. Senior brother, wait. I have something to ask you. Sima Yue stopped him. What's wrong, junior sister? Sima Yue pulled him to the table and sat down, saying, I saw that those qi spirits were a little different from the ones we met before. I want to ask you if you have any thoughts. Speaking of qi spirits, Su Xiaoxiao wasn't in a hurry to leave, because he also felt that it was a little strange. After that, he told her what happened after they came here. Sima Yue's heart trembled when she heard it. She was glad that she sent someone to invite her senior brother and senior sister over. That day, after she told Sima Qing about Su Xiaoxiao and the others, he immediately sent someone to invite them over, and sent them directly to Sima Zhiyuan. After knowing that they were Sima Yue's senior brother and senior sister, and that they had deviant flames, they brought them along when they went out. Later on, it was proven that their actions were very clear. Although the spirit masters they chose were of the lightning attribute, or had contracted spirit masters with lightning attributes, they didn't have much use here. Although the spirit beasts that were struck by lightning wouldn't grow in strength, they couldn't be completely eliminated. Only Su Xiaoxiao and the others' deviant flames could kill qi spirits. And those qi spirits were much more powerful than the ones they came into contact with before. They also had spirituality when they attacked. This was probably why Sima Yue said that someone was controlling them. Because of the three of them, the Sima family suffered the least damage in this incident. Sima Yue fell silent after hearing it. Lightning attribute spirit power couldn't completely eliminate the qi spirits. Just this point alone was enough to give everyone a headache. Although the qi spirits that were killed by lightning attributes wouldn't grow in strength, they could be revived quickly. However, a spirit master's spirit power couldn't be recovered so easily. If they fought with qi spirits, their spirit power would be exhausted sooner or later. When eldest senior brother wakes up, let's go to the ancient tomb to take a look, and see what exactly caused the qi spirits to become like this. Since she couldn't figure out the reason, she might as well go and take a look. Maybe she could find something. She knew that if she said that she was going alone, they would definitely not agree. She might as well go together. Anyway, they had deviant flames in their hands. In addition to her top-grade purple lightning and little birdie, there wouldn't be any danger. What Yue didn't know was that not long after she left the clan, someone came looking for her. After knowing that she wasn't in the clan, the other party didn't say anything and left immediately. Just be careful, Sima Xiuqi warned. I know. Sima Yue smiled at Sima Xiuqi. Grandpa was more straightforward than Grandma. How's your senior brother? It's a little troublesome. It'll take a long time for treatment, so he might have to follow me from now on. Sima Yue said. But aren't you going to the Xianqiu clan? Yeah. When they heard that I was going, they said they wanted to follow me. I thought that since Aunt Feng's people were there shouldn't be any problems. I'll just bring them along and treat senior brother. Sima Yue said. That's right, Grandpa. I heard from the old ancestor that you were brought here by my master. Why don't I see master and the others? Although we came here together, we separated after arriving here. That's why I haven't seen them. Sima Xiuqi replied. However, I think they should be fine. I see that there are people in their group who have deviant flames. Sima Yue was relieved when she heard that they had deviant flames. However, she still had to make sure that they were not in danger. After leaving Sima Xiuqi's room, she sent out a large number of scarlet bees, hoping that they would be able to find Feng Zhixing's whereabouts. It was a sleepless night. The scarlet bees were indeed experts in gathering information. When dawn broke, they brought news of Feng Zhixing to Sima Yue. However, this was not good news. After listening to the scarlet bees, Sima Yue sighed and knocked on Han Miaoshuang's door. After half an hour, Yue and the other three left the city gate and flew towards the direction of the tomb. Little junior sister, you said that your master and the others went to the tomb? Is this news reliable? Han Miaoshuang was worried that this was a trap set by someone. After all, this matter was even stranger than the last time. It's the news from the scarlet bees. It should be reliable. Sima Yue understood what she meant. However, she was just a small spirit master. Why would those people spend so much effort to deal with her? They set up such a huge trap, and even got the scarlet bees to tell her. This was too unbelievable. Moreover, those people would not know where the scarlet bees would go to gather information. No matter if it's a trap or not, it's always good to be careful. I think that time in the outer area, we must have accidentally broken their plan in advance. That's why the person controlling it didn't have time to take action. I think that the person behind this is not simple. Su Xiaoxiao reminded. To form the Qi spirit, it not only requires a place with great danger, but also a long wait. So, we can rule out the general forces. I think that the possibility of it being the hidden clans is higher. Jiang Junxian leaned on Han Miaoshuang's shoulder and said sleepily. Sima Yue thought so too. Other forces did not have such a background. Then what do you think about the undead? They had some understanding of the undead and should have their own opinions. Undead. The Yang clan does not have such ambition and ability. Jiang Junxian sat up. They must have colluded with someone behind this. I think that this matter is probably related to the ghost clan as well. The method to create the undead should have been passed down from the ghost realm. Su Xiaoxiao guessed. Sigh, I hope that the people behind the undead and the Qi spirit are not the same group of people. Han Miaoshuang sighed. I think that the possibility of them being the same group of people is not high. However, they are not easy to deal with. Jiang Junxian rubbed his temples. This world was really a little messy. Sima Yue was also a little worried. In this chaotic world, it was better to increase one's strength. Little junior sister, since the scarlet bees found out that your master and the others were at the tomb, did they find out where exactly they are? Su Xiaoxiao asked. Sima Yue shook her head. Those people only met master and the others when they were returning to the city. They don't know where exactly they went. This tomb is very big. If we don't know the exact location, it's not easy to find. We'll see when we get there. Sima Yue replied. When they reached the tomb, her brows furrowed together unconsciously. Chapter 1574. Han Miaoshuang and the others didn't know anything about arrays. When they saw Sima Yue acting this way, they knew that there was a problem. Junior sister, what's wrong? Su Xiaoxiao asked. Sima Yue sighed and said, the feng shui here is similar to the last one. It was also a place of great fortune, but someone changed it into a place of great misfortune. Is there any difference? Jiang Junxian asked. If it was the same as last time, the Qi spirit wouldn't be different. Sima Yue nodded. This time, the array has been modified and lightning elements have been added in. Moreover, the traces of the change were not long ago. I think it must have been changed after the Qi spirit was discovered. So those Qi spirits can be reborn after being struck by lightning. There isn't a lot of lightning element here. It's just a small increase in the Qi spirit's ability to adapt to lightning element. However, if it encounters some powerful lightning, it can still be destroyed directly. It was not just her top-grade purple lightning. If those people's cultivation methods were high enough, they could also destroy Qi spirits. She called out many scarlet bees and ordered, look around and see if you can find my master and the others. The scarlet bees flapped their little wings and flew away. Let's enter the tomb and take a look, Sima Yue said to the other three. All right. They all had deviant flames. If not for protecting others, they would be able to come and go freely in the mausoleum. Jiang Junxian and the others had entered the mausoleum before, so they quickly found the entrance. As soon as he entered, what he saw was neither Qi spirits nor treasures. Instead, he saw piles of corpses and bones. The entire tomb was dyed red with blood. He clearly knew that there was danger in here, but in order to obtain the treasure, he still ended up like this. Sima Yue sighed and released a ball of flame, burning all the corpses into ashes. The flame returned to her hand, which was full of space rings. Su Xiaoxiao and the others couldn't help but laugh when they saw her actions. Even though she had so many treasures, she still wouldn't let these go. Just now, he was seriously lamenting that these people valued money more than their lives. Sima Yue could tell what they were thinking. She waved the space ring in her hand and said, "I'm different from them. If I knew that I would die, I wouldn't have come in. I love money, but I love life even more. I'll keep this for now and we'll split it later. I hope there are some good things inside." The three senior brothers didn't have any objections. They weren't very interested in these people's things, unless there were medicinal herbs that they needed. Let's go inside and take a look. The deeper they went, the more curious they became. Along the way, apart from corpses, they didn't see a single treasure, nor did they see a single chi spirit. Could it be that those guys know that they can't deal with us, so they hid? Han Miaoshuang guessed. Very likely. If these are all controlled by humans, then they should know that Junior Sister is their nemesis. Su Xiaoxiao felt that this was very likely. Looks like we won't be able to find anything this time. Let's go back then. Since it was useless, he didn't want to waste any more time. Jiang Junxian and the others also thought so. After they left the tomb, Qi Feng sent a message saying that he had found the whereabouts of Feng Zhixing and the others. Just as Yue was about to go over, there was a strange movement in the space. Then a spatial tunnel opened, and a group of people walked out. Master. Sima Yue saw the man in the lead and ran over happily. Seeing the bloodstains on his body, she grabbed his arm and asked, "You're injured?" Feng Zhixing saw that Sima Yue was so nervous, he patted her hand and said, "This is someone else's blood. What's going on? Didn't you say that you have deviant flames? Why? The ones who hurt us weren't chi spirits, but other forces. They have a grudge with us, so they were a little more ruthless." Feng Zhixing said, "The other party had a lot of people, so we were at a disadvantage. It's all thanks to them that we were able to destroy the other party." Sima Yue saw the people who didn't speak after they came out, and asked curiously, "Why are you guys here?" Sima Yue was familiar with one of them. It was the guard who went to the ancient mine with Xian Qiuhe. "We were ordered by young master to go to the Sima family to pick you up. We heard that you were here, so we came over. We didn't expect to see your master and the others trapped. It was all thanks to young Master Feng and Miss Yue at the ancient mine that we helped. This is one of the clan's elders, Xianqiu Minglang. He's also here to pick up Miss Yue." The guard said. The elders of the hidden tribes must be quite powerful. This meant that the one who helped this time should be this elder. "Thank you, Elder Minglang, for your help." Sima Yue bowed to the elder. "Miss Yue, you don't have to be so polite. You saved so many people in my Xianqiu family last time. This is nothing." Xianqiu Minglang waved his hand, his honest face smiling amiably. "How did you know we were here?" Jiang Junxian suddenly asked. "We came to pick up Miss Yue, so we naturally have a way to find out where she is." Xianqiu Minglang replied. "Miss Yue, the 5-year agreement is up. I wonder if you can leave with us?" Before we left, young master told us that time is of the essence. If we're late, the situation might change. Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat. The situation had changed. Was he talking about the divine medicine? "I have to go back and talk to my clan before I can leave." "All right. Then we'll go back with you," Xianqiu Minglang said. They returned to the city. Before Feng Zhixing left, Sima Yue called him to one side and used a barrier to wrap the two of them. "Master, it's better that you don't get involved in this chi spirit matter," Sima Yue said. "Why?" "I went to the tomb to take a look. Those chi spirits are not afraid of lightning attribute spiritual energy, and there's someone controlling them. If there's no nemesis, it's too dangerous to get involved. Also, there are no treasures in the tomb, nor are there any inheritances. To put it bluntly, it's just an empty shell," Sima Yue said. Feng Zhixing's eyes narrowed slightly. Sima Yue paused, then continued. The formation of the chi spirits did not happen overnight, so the person controlling them is definitely not an ordinary power. At the very least, it has a long history. This kind of power must be very strong. I'll bring people back, Feng Zhixing said. Master, why did you bring people over? Sima Yue asked. It's because there's news that this is the tomb of the emperor, and there's a divine medicine, Feng Zhixing said. Sima Yue's breathing tightened. The emperor would usually have a divine medicine. If this was really the tomb of the emperor, then his divine medicine should also be in the tomb. No wonder so many people ran over. This news was indeed very attractive. This news is fake. I've walked around the entire tomb. This is not the tomb of the emperor. This meant that the divine medicine was fake. Who was the one who released the news? What was the purpose of doing so? Chapter 1575. The more things he had to do, the more obstacles he faced. She couldn't see Mount Tai with a single leaf. She felt that everything in front of her was blurry. There were too few clues, so it was impossible for him to guess who was behind the scenes. If he couldn't figure it out, then he wouldn't think about it. However, he would have to be more careful in the future. Feng Zhixing left with the people of Integral Moon Palace. Since he knew that this was a scam, he went back directly. Sima Yue brought Xianqiu Minglang and the others back to the inn, and found Sima Zhiyuan and the others. She first told them about the situation at the tomb, and asked them to return to their family before telling them about going to the Xianqiu family. The Sima family knew that she was going to the Xianqiu family. They also knew that it was inevitable, so they were not surprised. They reminded her to be careful. Xianqiu Minglang did not bring them directly to the Xianqiu clan. Instead, they passed through several teleportation arrays and spatial ships, and arrived at a place called Xian City in the 10 states. Sima Yue got off the spatial ship and took a deep breath. She smiled at Han Miaoshuang and the others. Senior brother and senior sister, don't you feel that the spiritual energy here is so dense that it's refreshing just by breathing? It's not as exaggerated as you say. Han Miaoshuang smiled. But the spirit energy here is indeed denser than other places. Miss Yue, my mission is to send you here. Naturally, there will be others who will take you back. Xianqiu Minglang said to Sima Yue. Aren't you sending us to the Xianqiu clan? I'm just an elder in charge of external affairs. If there's nothing important, I can't go to the clan. The order I received was to send you here. Xianqiu Minglang smiled. Sima Yue had also guessed that a reclusive family like theirs would not easily come into contact with the outside world. There would definitely be someone in charge outside. Hence, she did not think too much about it, and allowed Xianqiu Minglang to bring them to an inconspicuous courtyard. Xianqiu Minglang saw that Sima Yue did not ask anything and secretly heaved a sigh of relief. However, when he saw the person in the courtyard, he jumped in fright and hurriedly knelt down. Greetings, young lord. Xianqiu, he was still dressed in white. His creamy skin was sparkling and translucent under the sunlight. Sima Yue even felt that his body seemed to be covered in a halo because of this. He smiled at Sima Yue and said calmly, Yue, you're finally here. Why are you here? Sima Yue was surprised to see Xianqiu here. She did not expect that he would personally come to pick her up. I've been waiting anxiously in the family, unable to calm down. Why don't I come outside to pick you up? Xianqiu smiled. You must be tired from the long journey. Have a good rest first. We'll continue tomorrow. Sima Yue originally wanted to go earlier, but then she remembered that she had to refine medicine for Jiang Junxian today, so she nodded and agreed. The rooms have been prepared for you. Xianqiu waved his hand and 2 servant girls walked over. They bowed towards Sima Yue. Miss Yue, please follow us. This courtyard was small and ordinary, so there were not many rooms. Sima Yue saw that her room was decorated in a unique way. It looked almost like the main room. She asked casually, whose courtyard is next to mine? Next to it is young master's. Young master has been waiting here for Miss Yue for many days. The servant girl replied shyly. She had always heard that young master was handsome and elegant. Now that she saw him, she felt that those words could not describe young master's beauty. It was a pity that he had to sit in a wheelchair wherever he went and could not see. "Aren't my senior brothers staying here?" Sima Yue asked. "There are only these 2 rooms in the hospital. Miss Yue's senior brothers are arranged to stay in the courtyard next door." Sima Yue frowned slightly. Just as she was about to reject, she heard the sound of wheels turning. "I want you to take a look at me tonight. It's more convenient here," Xian Qiuhe said. Sima Yue walked to Xian Qiuhe's side and said, "Since you want to check on your body, then you don't have to prepare a room for me. I'll go and do acupuncture for my senior brothers first, then I'll go and find you." Xian Qiuhe stared at her and nodded. "Okay, I'll wait for you in the room." He turned the wheels of the wheelchair. Sima Yue walked behind him and pushed him to his room. "Thank you." Xian Qiuhe let go of the wheelchair and nodded slightly. After sending Xian Qiuhe to his room, Yue went to Jiang Junxian's place to check on him, do acupuncture and refine medicine. After a while, the sky was already very dark. When she returned to the main courtyard, the light in Xian Qiuhe's room was still lit. She knocked on the door and Xian Qiuhe's voice came from inside. The servant girl opened the door from inside and bowed to Sima Yue. "I'll have to trouble Miss Yue." Sima Yue nodded at her, and she stood up to leave. Xian Qiuhe was looking at a rubbing. When he felt Sima Yue enter, he put down the rubbing and said sadly, "In the past, I could only look at these rubbing. I've never read a real book. I don't know if I'll have the chance to read a book in this lifetime." Sima Yue walked over and smiled. "Of course you can. You have to believe that this world is so big. If I can't do it, there will be someone who can. I believe in you. If you can't do it, then no one else can." Xian Qiuhe smiled faintly. "You really believe in me?" Sima Yue smiled. "Let me check on your body first." "Okay." Xian Qiuhe stretched out his hand and let Sima Yue take his pulse. Sima Yue checked on his condition and had a rough idea. "How is it? Can I still be saved?" Xian Qiuhe smiled and asked. Sima Yue retracted her hand and said honestly, "Even after so many years, I still don't have 100% confidence." Xian Qiuhe was not disappointed when he heard this. Previously, she had 50% confidence. Now it had only been 5 years. He did not think that she could improve by much. "It won't be any smaller than before." He smiled faintly. "I have 80% confidence now. The remaining 20% will depend on the thing in your body." Xian Qiuhe was stunned. In 5 years, she actually increased the chances by 30%. "Why do you say that the remaining 20% will depend on the thing in my body? I haven't officially interacted with it, so I don't know how strong it is. If it's too strong, it might affect the treatment. After all, the treatment will suppress it." What Sima Yue did not say was that she felt that the seal in his body was familiar. "Then I'll have to trouble you in the future." The smile on Xian Qiuhe's face was no longer faint. Sima Yue could feel that the aura on his body had become much more relaxed. "That." Sima Yue glanced at Xian Qiuhe and moved her lips. In the end, she did not ask. Xian Qiuhe knew what she was thinking and said, "The divine medicine has matured and is now stored in the treasure pavilion. I've already discussed with the family. When you go, I'll pass the divine medicine to you." Chapter 1576. Sima Yue was relieved when she heard what he said. Since the Xianqiu clan said so, they shouldn't go back on their word. On the morning of the second day, Xianqiu brought Sima Yue and the rest out of the city. They went through the teleportation formation and arrived at a mountain range. Sima Yue knew that they were not near Yi City as the teleportation array was not far away. However, because he didn't know the spatial coordinates, he didn't know where they were now. Then the group of people sat on the spirit beasts that had been prepared beforehand. After flying for some distance, they entered another world. Do all the hidden clans live in seclusion in such a beautiful place? Han Miaoshuang teased with a smile as she looked at the spiritual energy that was so dense that it could drip water. "That's the only advantage." Xian Qiuhe smiled. Sima Yue smiled and was not surprised. When he went to Feng people, the environment there was better than here. Now she finally understood why the hidden clans were getting stronger and stronger. Enlei's life was in the hands of Sima Yue, so this time, Sima Yue let her take care of Sima Lu Xian in the spirit pagoda. Feeling Sima Yue's emotions, she said, "My lady, the Xianqiu clan is in a small world." Sima Yue was slightly taken aback. Small world? She didn't feel any fluctuations from the little realm. The place where the Xuanqiu clan and the Donglai clan live in is not independent like the little Black Lotus realm. Instead, it's a small space opened up within space, Enlei explained. Their ancestors must be very powerful to be able to create such a place to live in. Sima Yue sighed. I heard that the ancestors of the two clans were both celestial emperors. This space should have been created by the emperor. Emperor? Sima Yue touched the devil's snare bracelet on her wrist. No matter who they were, she had to get the magical medicine this time. Xianqiu, he brought them to the main district. It was said that 80% of the people lived here. The scale was comparable to a small city. We've been on the road for such a long time. You guys go and rest first. I'll report back to the patriarch and the others. Xianqiu, he said to them. Following which, a maid came up and led them to the courtyard that was specially set aside for guests. The Xianqiu clan was indeed a reclusive clan. Even if it was a courtyard for a guest, the decorations were top-notch. The courtyard was filled with exotic flowers and herbs. The road was made of polished marble and cobblestones. The rockery was made of high-quality jade. There was even a pavilion in the middle of the artificial lake, surrounded by red-crowned cranes. The lake water rippled and flickered with fluorescent lights. The environment here is really good. Han Miaoshuang sighed. Such a good place. I wonder if all the guest rooms are like this or only this place is good. Jiang Junxian asked. This is the best courtyard, the maid said. Although the other places are also exquisitely decorated, they don't have such a good lake. The best courtyard? The few of them looked at each other. This treatment seemed to be a bit high. Yes. The family head said that Miss Yue is here to treat young master's injuries, and is an honored guest of our family, so we naturally have to arrange for the best courtyard, the maid said with a smile. Her attitude towards Sima Yue was really respectful. Miss Yue, our madam said that she hopes that you can treat this place as your own home. If you have any requests, feel free to ask us, another maid said. The master had already prepared such a good place for them. What other requests could they have? Miss Yue, you don't know how happy the clansmen were when they knew that you were coming. Why? Our young master is naturally intelligent and talented. It's a pity that he couldn't walk or see since he was born. The maid explained. Although young master has never said it, we all know that he actually wants to be like a normal person. This kind of young master is even more heartbreaking. So the entire clan hopes that young master can get better. Although 50% is a little small, but young master believes in you, so we believe in you too. Miss Yue, you must treat young master's illness. Sima Yue felt a little guilty under the maid's burning gaze. She smiled and said, I will do my best, but I can't guarantee the result. We have some understanding of Miss Yue. Since you said so, there shouldn't be a problem, the other maid said with a smile. Sima Yue smiled and didn't continue. The two maids brought them to the courtyard and left. The four of them each chose a room, and then gathered at Jiang Junxian's place. Sima Yue treated Jiang Junxian with acupuncture. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiaoxiao watched from the side. Although they had seen it many times, they still had goosebumps when they saw Jiang Junxian's head full of needles. With Sima Yue's treatment, Jiang Junxian's condition was much better. At least he didn't look like he would fall asleep anytime and anywhere. After waking up, he was more energetic, unlike before when he woke up in a daze. However, he still had to sleep most of the time. After Sima Yue was done with the acupuncture, she took out the medicine that she had refined and fed it to him. Han Miaoshuang and the others then started to talk. Junior sister, when are you going to treat Xianqiu He? Han Miaoshuang asked. Once she started to treat Xianqiu He and Jiang Junxian, she would be very tired. I think they won't let me treat Xianqiu He for the time being, Sima Yue said as she came to the table and poured herself a cup of tea. Why? Xianqiu He's body is in such a condition. Xianqiu clan still let him be the young master. This means that he has a high prestige in the clan. and is valued by the clan. For such a treasure, they won't take the risk if they aren't confident. Sima Yue said with certainty. You're saying that they still don't plan on letting you treat Xian Qiuhe? Han Miao Shuang frowned. She was a little angry at her suspicions. There should be some kind of test or something. Sima Yue guessed. But this is good. Eldest senior brother's treatment is at a crucial point. I can put more energy on this side. Junior sister, Xianqiu clan must have asked many people to treat Xian Qiuhe. It didn't work. Are you confident that you can treat him? Su Xiaoxiao was a little worried. Senior brother, actually, Xian Qiuhe's condition isn't complicated. Sima Yue said. Those people are helpless because they can't do anything to that thing. That thing? There's something sealed in Xian Qiuhe's brain. That thing is suppressing his nerves. That's why he can't walk and can't see. As long as that thing is smaller and doesn't suppress his nerves, he'll be fine. Sima Yue said. However, his nerves have been suppressed for so long. They're damaged. He'll only be fully recovered after they're repaired. So for him to be able to see and walk, it'll still take some time. Since so many things can't do anything to that sealed thing, junior sister, are you sure you can do it? Chapter 1577. Recommended reading. 80%, Sima Yue said confidently. 80% confidence. In other words, when she told Xian Qiuhe that she was 80% confident, she was completely referring to her confidence in dealing with the seal. As long as she could take care of this, she would definitely be able to heal his nerves. Although it's not 100%, but I feel that junior sister's 80% chance is the same as 100% chance. Han Miao Shuang had a lot of trust in Sima Yue. However, junior sister, what if they go back on their word? Su Xiaoxiao asked. If they want to go back on their word, they will naturally pay the price. However, I have to get that godly medicine no matter what. Sima Yue's attitude was very clear. Since they had already agreed to give her the divine medicine after curing Xian Qiuhe, if they went back on their word, she would naturally use her own methods to get the divine medicine. However, he did not know if they would be able to bear the price. Just as Sima Yue expected, the Xianqiu clan did not summon her immediately. Instead, they asked her to rest in the courtyard. They said that they knew that Sima Yue had been treating her senior for the past few days, and asked her to settle it first. He was just short of saying, "Don't multitask." Yu and the others weren't angry at all since they knew this would happen. If they really let Sima Yue treat Xianqiuhe so easily, they would be worried. In the blink of an eye, they had already stayed in the Xianqiu clan for 10 days. During this period of time, Xianqiuhe would come over every day to chat with Sima Yue, or bring them around the clan. Xianqiuhe said apologetically, "When I went out, mother went out because of some matters in the clan. The chief's wife wasn't here, and no one else could make the decision for her, so it was delayed." Sima Yue told her not to worry about it. She could use this time to treat Jiang Junxian. After passing this hurdle, Jiang Junxian's matter could be put aside for a while. She could also treat Xianqiuhe better. On this day, Sima Yue had just finished acupuncture for Jiang Junxian and covered him with a blanket. Su Xiaoxiao came in and said that people from the Xianqiu family were here. Senior sister has gone to refine medicine for eldest senior brother. You stay here and guard him. Sima Yue said to Su Xiao. Jiang Junxian would sleep for a period of time after each acupuncture. Sima Yue said that it was good for him. It was best if he woke up naturally. If he was woken up, the effect would be greatly reduced. Su Xiaoxiao nodded and sat down at the table. Sima Yue went out alone. In the courtyard stood a woman with her hair tied up in a madam's bun. When the lady heard the commotion, she turned around and looked at Sima Yue. She smiled faintly, which reminded Sima Yue of a saying. In the depths of time, the years were peaceful. This woman wasn't very beautiful, but she gave people a gentle and refined feeling. Looking at her made people's hearts calm down. However, after seeing people like Feng Ruyan, Yue was only startled when she saw this woman. "You are Yue, right? I am Here's mother." Sun Yue smiled and said to Sima Yue, Sima Yue took 2 steps forward and bowed to Sun Yue. Yue greets Auntie. At the same time, she sighed in her heart. No wonder Xianqiu he had an immortal-like temperament. It was hereditary. Sun Yue went forward to help her up and smiled. I went out a few days ago and only came back today. I heard that you were here, so I came to take a look. I should be the one to see Auntie. Why did Auntie come to see me? Sima Yue smiled embarrassedly. Sun Yue sized up Sima Yue. That gaze made Sima Yue feel uncomfortable. He said that he believes in your medical skills, so I believe in you too. Auntie, do you have something to say? Sima Yue asked. For people like them, there was always a but at the end. It's like this. I have a servant girl who has been with me since I was young. Later on, she also helped to take care of her. She was injured in the past and left behind some hidden injuries, so I want you to take a look at her. Sun Yue said apologetically. Although it was not right to do so directly, Xianqiu he was her precious child. Without knowing Sima Yue's depth, she did not dare to hand him over to her. After Sun Yue finished speaking, a woman behind her walked forward and bowed slightly to Sima Yue. Sun Yue said that she grew up with her, which meant that this servant girl was about the same age as her. However, this person's face was full of wrinkles and her hair was gray. She looked like an old woman. If Sun Yue did not say this, she would not have thought that they were about the same age. I don't have any extravagant hopes that her looks can be restored to how it was before. As long as her body recovers, she can accompany me for a few more years. Sun Yue said when she saw Sima Yu's contemplative gaze. Sima Yue did not agree immediately and said, Auntie, I have to check on her before I can give you an answer. Then I'll have to trouble you to take a look at her. Sun Yue nodded. She was neither arrogant nor rash. She was much better than her peers. Auntie, please follow me. Sima Yue brought them to the living room and let the servant girl sit down. She then went to check on her body. After checking on the servant girl's body, she said as expected in her heart. An injury that could render the hidden family helpless was definitely not a small injury. This aunt's hidden injuries should be a few hundred years old. Sima Yue said. Auntie should have taken many good herbs to prolong her life. However, even so, this aunt has less than 2 years to live. Back then it was all to save me. Sun Yue's eyes moistened when she said this. However, what surprised her was that Sima Yue's medical skills were so good. The family's doctor had also said that this servant girl would not live for more than 2 years. Sun Yue's initial intention was not to let Sima Yue treat her. After all, even the family's doctor had said that there was no hope. She only wanted to test Sima Yue's abilities and see how much she could tell. However, she did not expect Sima Yue to know everything just by taking her pulse. Her medical skills were definitely not inferior to the family's doctors. At the same time, a glimmer of hope rose in her heart. She looked at Sima Yue and asked, Yue, look at her situation. Can she still be saved? It's not that there is no way, but it will be more troublesome and the price will be higher. Also, I'm afraid that it will be very difficult to restore her looks. Sima Yue said. From Sima Yue's point of view, this servant girl's body was like a wooden barrel with a hole drilled in it. If the hole was not repaired, no matter how much water it contained, it would all leak out. If she wanted to be treated, the herbs needed would not be easy. However, Sun Yue's eyes lit up. Treat. No matter what, we must treat her. Yue, do you need us to do anything? Those who have read Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor will like it. Chapter 1578. At this time, Sima Yu didn't care whether Sun Yue was sincere or not. Since they wanted to test her strength, she didn't have to hold anything back. She wrote down the things she needed to prepare on a piece of paper and handed it to Sun Yue. Sun Yue looked at the things that she had asked the servants to prepare and frowned slightly. She then passed them to the servant girl beside her and asked her to prepare them. Auntie, this auntie's body is very weak. I need to nurse her back for a few days before I can treat her. Sima Yue said. That's good. I took a look at the herbs you need, and there are a few that the clan doesn't have yet. If you want to get them, it will take some time. I'll have to trouble you to nurse her body these few days, Sun Yue said with a smile. Sima Yue agreed. Anyway, it was just a matter of recuperation and not a final treatment. She did not need to spend too much effort on it. After getting the results she wanted, Sun Yue got up and left. After they left, Su Xiaoxiao came in and asked, "Did they come to test you?" Sima Yu nodded. This time, a troublesome patient was sent over. Su Xiaoxiao frowned and asked, "Are you sure?" "It's just that she hasn't recovered from her previous injuries. As long as they can prepare the herbs, I can cure her. If you don't prepare everything, it has nothing to do with me." Sima Yue shrugged. She was not worried at all. Seeing Sima Yue's confidence, Su Xiaoxiao didn't say anything more. Half a month later, Sun Yue sent someone to pass a message to Sima Yue, saying that the medicinal ingredients were ready and inviting her over. Sima Yue followed the servant girl to a splendid courtyard. As she walked in, she could not help but mutter in her heart. It was just a courtyard, but it was even more magnificent than an imperial palace. The Xianqiu family was really generous. The maidservant led her to the main hall. The moment she entered, she realized that other than Sun Yue and the maid, there was also a group of people of various ages dressed in white. The doctors saw Sima Yue. Sun Yue saw Sima Yue bowing to her and waved her hand. She smiled and said, "These are the family's doctors. They want to see how you treat her and learn from you, so they came along." Sima Yue understood that learning was one thing and supervising another. It seemed that this person had a high position in Sun Yue's heart. She said awkwardly, "It's not that I don't want to, but when I treat her, I need to use of acupuncture and I need to remove this auntie's clothes. If there's a man present, it's not good. But if there are female doctors to come along." Those doctors originally wanted to get angry, but when they heard her last sentence, they swallowed their words. Did they really want to see a woman's body? But she was to see that Yue to see to say to this was because there were 2 female physicians in the Xianqiu clan. Sun Yue had long heard of Sima Yu's acupuncture skills. When she heard her mention it today, she felt like she was purposely making things difficult for her, so she nodded, saying, "Then let them go and assist you." The maidservant led them to the room at the side. There was a soft bed prepared. Sima Yue let the maid lie on it, and let her take off her clothes. The maid was a little embarrassed at first, but one of the doctors said that everything was the same in front of a doctor. The most important thing was to treat the illness. Only then did she take off all her clothes. "Seniors, if you want to see, no matter what I do later, please don't make a sound. If I'm interrupted when I'm concentrating, I don't need to tell you the consequences. Whether this auntie's life can be saved will depend on your abilities." Sima Yue instructed the 2 doctors before taking out her silver needles. The 2 female doctors already knew that there was a set of acupuncture outside. Unfortunately, they had never seen it before. When they saw Sima Yue taking out her silver needles today, they were a little excited. However, this excitement quickly turned into nervousness. This was because they realized that Sima Yue had pierced a few places on the human body. One of them wanted to stop her, but was pulled back by the other, who shook her head at her. Even though Sima Yue's acupuncture speed was not slow, she still diverted some of her attention to the 2 of them. She saw their reactions, but as long as they did not disturb her, she did not care about them. 2 hours later, Sima Yue finished her acupuncture. When she took out the last needle, she ordered, "Help her put on her clothes." The 2 doctors took the maid's pulse while she was putting on her clothes. They looked at each other and saw the surprise in each other's eyes. She had only done 1 acupuncture, and her condition had improved by 30%. After Sima Yue kept her silver needles, she said to the 2 of them, "I'm going to report to Auntie. Do you want to come along?" She was not interested in their little antics just now. Since they were testing her medical skills, they definitely had to check on her condition. "All right, let's go out together." When she returned to the main hall, Sima Yue did not expect that none of them had left. "Yue, how is it?" Sun Yue asked anxiously. "The treatment went well. I've already given her the pill. She only needs to do a few more acupuncture sessions." Sima Yue replied. "How is her condition?" One of the doctors asked. "You'll know when you see her." Sima Yue did not want to bother with their probing gazes and said to Sun Yue, "Auntie, the next acupuncture session will be in 3 days. I'm a little tired. I'll go back and rest first." Sun Yue could tell that she did not look too well and nodded. "Go back and rest." Sima Yue bowed to her and turned to leave. After Sima Yue left, Sun Yue asked the 2 doctors who had followed her in about the situation. Naturally, the 2 doctors told her everything that they had seen. When they heard that Sima Yue's condition had improved by 30% after 1 acupuncture session and 1 pill, the other doctors did not believe it. "You'll know whether you believe it or not when you see her," Sun Yue said. Unexpectedly, none of the doctors in the hall believed it. They all ran over and personally took each of their pulses. She actually improved by 30%. With her current body, she can live for at least a few more decades. It seems that the acupuncture technique is indeed as miraculous as the rumors say. In that case, that little girl really has the ability to cure people. At this rate, it's very likely. In that case, there's hope for young master's illness. The acupuncture technique is so miraculous. I wonder if she's willing to hand it over. If we can exchange it for the acupuncture technique. Let's ask her another day. Sima Yue directly returned to the courtyard where they lived. She did not know that those people had used the acupuncture technique. However, even if she knew, she would not regret using it in front of these people. She had to get her hands on the godly medicine. Chapter 1579. In the following days, other than performing acupuncture for Jiang Junxian, Sima Yue also had to go to Sun Yue's courtyard regularly. After a month, the servant girl's condition had improved by more than half. This allowed the Xianqiu clan to affirm Sima Yue's medical skills. At the same time, they had other ideas. On this day, Sima Yue came out of Sun Yue's courtyard and was stopped halfway. "Yue." Sima Yue looked at the person in front of her and recognized that he was a doctor from the Xianqiu family, Xianqiu Rong. However, she did not have a good impression of this person, so she nodded in response. "Yue, are you going back? How about I send you back?" Xianqiu Rong said. "No need. I have walked this path so many times that I am very familiar with it. If there's nothing else, I'll go back first." Sima Yue rejected instinctively. Xianqiu Rong was a little annoyed, but he did not show it. Seeing that Sima Yue was unwilling to say more, he directly said the reason why he stopped her. "Miss Yue, I have something to discuss with you." Sima Yue looked at his greedy eyes and sneered in her heart. She did not reply. This Xianqiu Rong had always made things difficult for her, always asking her about the silver needle method. Xianqiu Rong saw that she did not answer, and the anger in his heart burned even more. If it was an ordinary person who saw her like this, they wouldn't continue to pester her. However, his skin was thicker than the average person's. Even so, he still smiled and said to her, "Miss Yu, I came here today to make a deal with you." Sima Yue remained indifferent and did not reply. She was not interested in the deal at all. "Miss Yue, we would like to exchange my massage technique for your acupuncture technique. What do you think?" Sima Yue glanced at him and could no longer pretend to be smiling. She said in a deep voice, "Dr. Rong, both of us know how powerful this silver needle technique is, right? Your massage technique, even if I don't know it, I won't exchange it with you." "Then what do you want in exchange?" "My master gave it to me. My master ordered that it can only be passed down and not told to others." "Dr. Rong, I'm sorry. I have to go back to treat my senior. Goodbye." After speaking, she walked around Xianqiu Rong and went back to the courtyard. The place where they were standing was not far from the courtyard. The moment Sima Yu entered, she saw Su Xiaoxiao and the other two with dark expressions. Sima Yu was shocked. She asked, "What happened? Did the people from the Xianqiu family bullied you? Could it be that someone had taken advantage of her absence to sneak in here?" Yue? They obviously did not you to bully. Yue? Yue to you. Yue, of course Yue. Sima Yue heaved a sigh of relief when she heard that. It was good that no one bullied them. Senior, if they don't see my medical skills, they won't let me treat Xianxiuhe. And I have to get that miraculous medicine. Sima Yue said. Father has been back for a few years. Without the support of spirit energy, his body has started to age. I can't wait any longer. Sima Luxian couldn't cultivate. His lifespan was no different from an ordinary person. She had already wasted a few years. She didn't have any more time to find other ways. And even Wu Lingyu only knew of this method. She could only take this path. Seeing that Sima Yoyue's expression was not good, Han Miaoshuang and the others swallowed their words. They just sighed. In the end, Su Xiaoxiao spoke. Little Junior, don't think that Xianxiuhe is all right. Think that all the people from the hidden families are like that. Those people are used to being high and mighty. They are not easy to get along with. I know. Sima Yue understood this point as well. She had interacted with the Northern Du clan and Eastern Lai clan. Naturally, she knew that the people from the hidden families were not easy to get along with. Xianxiuhe was indeed considered different. Don't worry. Although those people covet my medical skills, I haven't treated Xianxiuhe yet. They won't dare to do anything to me. Sima Yue smiled at the three of them. But those people are outside all day. It hurts my eyes to look at them. Han Miaoshuang was still a little angry. Fortunately, Senior has passed the first stage. He doesn't need to use acupuncture anymore. The testing is about to end. I estimate that we will be able to treat Xianxiuhe and a few asterisk. Once he is cured, we will get the miraculous medicine and leave. Sima Yue had the support of the phone people. She wasn't that afraid of the hidden families. I'm just afraid that they will do something after we leave. Jiang Junxian was worried about the future. Although they knew that the phone people were in the little realm, Sima Yue didn't mention the origins of the phone people. They only knew that those people were very powerful, but they weren't sure if they could suppress the hidden families. Let's talk about the future. Sima Yue couldn't say it clearly. She could only tell them not to think too much. That day, Xianxiuhe came to look for Sima Yue. He wanted to apologize on behalf of those doctors who asked Sima Yue to exchange the acupuncture technique. Sima Yue said that it had nothing to do with him. There was no need to apologize. She also told him what she couldn't say. In the end, she said that she believed that Xianxiu clan wouldn't do anything to make things difficult for her. Xianxiuhe directly promised that such a situation wouldn't happen again. 3 days later, she performed acupuncture on the maid for the last time. She reminded her not to stop taking pills for the next year. Her task was considered completed. Sun Yuyue saw that the maid's condition was getting better and better. She believed in Sima Yoyue's medical skills. Miss Yue, since the matters here are more or less settled, let's treat here in 2 days. Do you need to prepare anything? Sima Yue shook her head and said, I've been studying his condition for the past few years. I've prepared everything that needs to be prepared. How do you plan to treat him? Sun Yuyue was still worried. Actually, the hardest part of the treatment is to deal with the thing sealed in his body. As long as it shrinks and doesn't suppress his nerves, he'll be able to walk and see naturally. Sima Yue replied. I heard from he. Or that you're 80% sure? Sima Yue nodded. How long do you need? 10 days. Only 10 days? She spent almost 2 months to treat the maid. She only needed 10 days to treat Xianxiuhe? To be exact, I need 1 day to deal with that thing. The remaining 9 days are to help him recover his nerves. This won't affect his seal, right? Auntie, don't worry. This will only make the seal stronger. After all, if it shrinks, its range will shrink too. Since that's the case, come back 2 days later to treat him. Sima Yue agreed and turned to leave. Chapter 1580. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. This time, Sima Yue did not go to Sun Yue's courtyard, but to Xianxiuhe's courtyard. Previously, when Xianxiuhe brought them around the clan, he had once brought her to his courtyard. When she arrived at Xianxiuhe's place, there were already many people guarding there. Other than the doctors, there were also other people she had never seen before. She guessed that they were probably elders or something like that. In the living room, Sun Yue sat in the main seat while Xian Qiuhe sat behind her. The others sat on both sides. The seat beside Sun Yue was empty. Seeing that Sima Yoyue's gaze had paused on the empty seat, Sun Yue said apologetically, "My master has something to do and has not returned yet." Sima Yue was stunned. When she was treating Xian Qiuhe, his father, who was also the clan leader, was not around. Seeing the smile on Sun Yue's face, why did she feel that the mother of the family had deliberately chosen this time? As if Di had seen through her thoughts, Sun Yue's smile didn't falter. His father isn't very supportive of this. He's not here, so I'm in charge. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Wasn't it usually the mother who didn't want to knit? This mother didn't seem to be reluctant. Wasn't she afraid that she would cripple her son? However, this was their own business, so she did not care so much. As long as he could get the divine medicine afterwards, it would be fine. Auntie, can we start now? When you diagnose and treat him, we want to be present. A white-bearded old man said. Sima Yue shook her head. The entire process must be highly focused and cannot be interrupted at all. Forgive this junior for not agreeing. You have to do it even if you can't. That seal is extremely important. If something goes wrong, can you bear the responsibility? Just now, the white-bearded man's attitude was still considered reluctant, but now his words were very impolite. No. Sima Yue refused to back down. Child, can't you make an exception? Sun Yue also wanted to enter. We promise that we won't speak. We won't disturb you. Auntie, this process is too delicate. There can't be any mistakes. If you're worried about the seal, I can assure you that the seal will not be released regardless of whether we succeed or not. Sima Yue said. No. The elders of the Xianqiu clan were determined. If you don't agree, please forgive me for not being able to make a move. Sima Yue did not back down. Are you threatening us? The cold voice was filled with anger. Sima Yue shook her head and said, The risk lies with me, not him. I need a high degree of concentration, and I also need to use my divine sense to control it. If I am affected, I will suffer a lot of damage. If it was light, his divine sense would be damaged. If it was heavy, his sea of consciousness would shatter, and he would become mentally retarded. Please forgive me, auntie and elders. I cannot take this risk. Sun Yue was a little hesitant when she heard the severity of her words. Mother, let's do as Yue says. Xian Qiuhe said. I believe her and I don't want to miss this opportunity. Sun Yue looked at Xian Qiuhe and sighed softly. She had a feeling that a grown child could not be kept. Just now, they had agreed that they would watch from the sidelines. Who knew that he would sell out his clansmen in the blink of an eye? Since you've said so, then we'll do as you say. Sun Yue compromised. Mistress. The elders still wanted to stop them, but Sun Yue waved her hand and interrupted their thoughts. Xian Qiuhe pushed his wheelchair in front of Sima Yue and smiled at her. Let's go. Okay. Sima Yue came behind him and pushed his wheelchair to the room that was prepared at the side. She was very grateful for his support at this time. If he did not agree, there would be no other way today. The two of them came to the room and closed the door with a bang, blocking everyone outside. Then Sima Yue set up a barrier. Add another layer. Xian Qiuhe set up one too. It was much more advanced than hers. The people outside could forget about rushing in, or using their divine sense to investigate. Those elders were locked outside and all gathered in the courtyard. Young master set up a barrier. It seems like he doesn't want us to investigate the situation inside. Sigh. Young master's barrier was the best in the clan. Without his permission, no one could investigate anything. Mistress, if Patriarch comes back, what will he do? Sun Yue said faintly, when he comes back, everything will be settled. He won't be able to say anything. But Patriarch, don't worry. If anything happens, I will take care of it. Sun Yue was determined to treat Xian Qiuhe. She knew her own son best. He wanted to see the world with his own eyes and not rely on his divine sense to feel it. When those elders heard her words, they looked at each other. If Patriarch really got angry, would it really not affect them? Suddenly, A strong aura came from afar. Everyone in the courtyard cursed in their hearts. Sun Yue saw the person who came, and was slightly stunned. How could he come back at this time? She looked around at everyone present, and saw Xian Qiurong's evasive gaze. Her face darkened. Her anger disappeared in an instant. She smiled and said to the person who came, "Didn't old master say that he had something to settle? Why did he come back at this time?" Xian Qiufushi glanced at her coldly and snorted. "No matter how important the matter is, it is not as important as he er. Where is he?" Sun Yue ignored his anger and pointed at Xian Qiuhe's room. Seeing that Xian Qiufushi was about to enter, she quickly stopped him. "Old master, you can't." "Why can't I? I said that I don't agree, but you still did it behind my back. Are you trying to kill here?" Xian Qiufushi shouted. "Old master." Sun Yue's voice suddenly rose. She looked at the man in front of her with some heartache. "He is my son. I dote on him too much. How can I kill him? He always wanted to be able to walk and see." Xian Qiufushi interrupted her and scolded. "After so many years and finding so many doctors, you still haven't given up. If other people find out about the thing sealed in his body, do you know what will happen?" She knows that there is something sealed in Here's body, but as long as the seal is not broken, she will not know what it is. That seal was made by us. Do you think she can break it? Sun Yue was not intimidated by his aura and rebutted him. "We still can't take this risk," Xian Qiufushi said, and was about to rush into the room. "It's too late." Xian Qiufushi stopped and turned back to glare at Sun Yue. "What do you mean?" Sun Yue smiled. "Old master, can't you feel it? Here's barrier." "So what if it is?" Yue said that once it starts, any movement will affect them. The place she wants to attack is Here's brain. This barrier was set up by Here. If you attack it, Here will definitely be injured. They have already gone in for a while. I'm afraid they have already started treating him. Chapter 1581. The temperature around Xian Qiufushi instantly dropped to freezing point. He looked coldly at Sun Yue. "Master, don't glare at me. It's useless to wait for me." Although Xian Qiufushi's appearance was very frightening, Sun Yue was not afraid of him at all. She continued to look at him with a smile. Xian Qiufushi's anger finally turned into helplessness. Seeing him like this, Sun Yue's smile deepened. She stepped forward to hold his arm and said, "All right, master. Since it's already like this, just accept it. I believe in Here's vision." Xian Qiufushi sighed and asked, "How long will they take?" Yue said it would take about a day. "Then you stay here and guard. The rest of you follow me." Xian Qiufushi brought those people to the main hall. Sun Yue kept the smile on her face, and her eyes were filled with worry. Just now, she had spoken very confidently and pretended to be very relaxed, but how could she really be relaxed when it concerned her son's safety? The two people in the house didn't know what happened outside just now. At this moment, Xian Qiuhe was sitting in a bathtub. His chest was soaked in the bathtub and there were a few needles on it. "Big brother Crane, I'm going to start piercing the X position of your head from now on. Make that thing smaller. It might be a little painful, so bear with it." Sima Yue held a long silver needle and stood behind Xian Qiuhe. Seeing that he responded, she started to prick his Baihui X. Xian Qiuhe didn't expect Sima Yue to stab him in the back the moment she arrived. This X position was connected to the Sea of Consciousness. Once it was injured, the Sea of Consciousness would be destroyed. However, he only hesitated for a moment before he resisted the urge to move. Sima Yue was moved. He trusted her wholeheartedly, and even gave his life to her. After stabbing the Baihui X, she sighed and said, "You trust me that much? If I wanted to do something to you, you would have been in danger just now." Xian Qiuhe smiled and said, "I know you won't." Sima Yue did not know why he trusted her so much. Even she did not trust him so much. "I'll continue." After that, the two of them did not speak. Sima Yue pierced more than 10 silver needles into his head. The number was not as many as Jiang Junxian's, but it was more tiring than his because it required more precision, and also had to take into account his seal. The sealed fellow seemed to have sensed danger, and became restless in Xianqiuhe's mind. Sima Yue saw that Xianqiuhe's face turned pale, and then red. She knew that she was feeling terrible. Big Brother Crane, I will infuse my divine sense into your brain in a moment. Don't resist. Seeing that Xianqiuhe nodded almost imperceptibly, she quickly condensed her divine sense and entered his brain. At this time, his sea of consciousness was already surging violently. Even if it was him, he was almost unable to control it. In the middle of his sea of consciousness, there was an R-shaped white object floating up and down, surrounded by a faint golden light. The golden light and the body were not one, which meant that this was the thing that had been sealed. She attacked that thing. When her divine sense came into contact with the seal, that familiar feeling came again. It was as if she knew what it was. It was as if she should know. And that sealed thing felt Sima Yue's aura, and became even more restless, causing Xianqiuhe's sea of consciousness to become even more turbulent. However, Sima Yue felt that the tower was in pain before, but now it seemed to be agitated? Agitated? How could it be? But no matter how she felt, she still felt that it was agitated. Could it be that it knew her? Thinking about it, it was impossible. Then it must be familiar with something on her body. But no matter if it was someone familiar or something familiar, it could not change her purpose today. She bent her 5 fingers and all 5 of her fingertips emitted bits of fluorescent light, which then turned into silver threads. Following the movements of her 5 fingers, they automatically weaved into a silver net. Go! She threw the net towards that thing. That net seemed to be a little afraid of that thing, and was caught by the net. That thing tried to struggle and Sima Yue wanted to keep it. Both parties were in a deadlock and Sima Yue also felt that it was a little strenuous. Luckily, the person outside pricked it with a silver needle, which made the little person that was formed by the divine sense much more relaxed. The net outside the seal became more solid. But the other party still did not give in completely. Sima Yue thought for a while, and turned into a ball of flame. Because of the contract, the flame that she turned into also carried little birdie's aura. You either shrink the area obediently, or I will burn you into a ball of ashes. Sima Yue threatened. Don't think that I can't do anything to you just because I don't dare to hurt him. If I'm anxious, I will take care of you and him together. Anyway, I am still young and there is still room for improvement in my medical skills. Although I will hurt him by killing you, it is not impossible to save him. Who knows, I might even be able to get rid of you completely. Hearing her words, she did not know if the other party was threatened by her words or if there was some other reason, but it actually started to shrink slowly. As he shrank, the seal also shrank, and so did the web page outside. Phew! Looking at that thing that had shrunk by half, Sima Yue heaved a long sigh of relief. It was finally done. But before leaving, she took a look at that thing that was sealed. Her eyes were filled with a different kind of curiosity. When she pulled her divine sense out of Xianqiuhe's body, she could not take it anymore. Her body was weak, and she directly collapsed beside the bathtub. She took out a pill and ate it. After resting for a while, she supported herself with the bathtub and stood up. I will remove the needles for you. She shook her head and suppressed the discomfort. She removed the needles one by one. When she was done, Xianqiuhe opened his eyes. It was still dark in front of him. Feeling that Sima Yue's aura was not right, he suppressed the disappointment in his heart. He held on to the edge of the bathtub with both hands and asked, "Are you okay?" Sima Yue shook her head. Thinking that he still could not see, she replied weakly that she was fine. I can feel that your aura is not right. Xianqiuhe was still worried. I'm fine. It's just that my mental energy has been overused. Sima Yue said. I only removed the seal now. Your nerves have been suppressed for so many years, so you can't see immediately. Xianqiuhe heard that although her voice was weak, it was not intermittent. This meant that her condition was still okay. How long will it take for me to see? This depends on your recovery. Sima Yue said. However, it will not take more than 10 days. If you recover well, 3 to 5 days is possible. Thank you. Do I still need to do it like today? You only need to eat pills for the next few days. You don't need to do this anymore. Sima Yue pulled him up from the bathtub. He was still wearing his pants, so there was nothing to be shy about. She placed him on the bed. It was the first time she carried a man like a princess. Rest well. Eat 1 pill every day. You might be able to see when you open your eyes. I'll go back first. Sima Yue finished speaking and turned to leave. She did not expect him to grab her hand tightly. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.